New Blue Band with vanilla. The taste you love plus vanilla. Now available in stores countrywide.
Nabadwa wamene muno munzi hapa nina 59 years. Mu 59 years yumo hospital enze patali. So enzo tipasako bazimai benangu wonongokera mu load bana. Monga ine mu 1990 inapapira panji. Pamene napapira penze pansanga. So mwana nabwera alasiwa na mauzu anapitira pamene ya. So hapa tionga government ilipo kuti awe batiyangana akoero batigwira na mpamvu awe tionga ziko maningi ku government kuti baperekelele ba HH bali pampando.
308 maternity annexes built countrywide since 2021, but there's still more work to be done.
When women rise, Zambia rises. With unity, we will keep delivering and move Zambia forward together.
For decades, Zambia has searched for its promise. Through triumph, sacrifice, and difficult seasons. Many promised change, many spoke of hope, but the burden remained heavy. And then, a servant of the people stepped forward. Not perfect, not a magician, but a man willing to lead his people through the wilderness toward a better Zambia. Like Moses leading his people toward the promised land. The journey was never meant to be easy, because nations are not built overnight. They are built through faith, sacrifice, and perseverance. The work is not finished, but Zambia is moving forward.
On the 13th of August 2026, vote for Hakainde Hichilema as President of the Republic of Zambia.
Early in the morning, fire on the stove, love in a pie, that's the life we know. From the fields to the table, every bite it shows. Prime meal, the taste of home. Prime meal, the taste of home. Prime meal, the taste of home. Mama in the kitchen, we never eat alone. Prime meal, the taste of home.
Prime Meal, pure, proudly Zambian. Taste of home.
The following is a political advert and does not reflect the views of Prime Television, but those of the content provider.
We will not rest until every Zambian family feels the benefit of this generational change.
Niwake mupando mulekelendi Azibanchito hakainde Niwake mupando mulekelendi Azibanchito hakainde Niwake mupando mulekelendi Azibanchito hakainde Niwake mupando mulekelendi Azibanchito hakainde
Together, finally Japamo. Isene pikatane, yeah, yeah.
Oh, Adi.
Together, finally Japamo. Isene pikatane, yeah, yeah.
Niwake mupando mulekelendi Azibanchito hakainde 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 Niwake mupando mulekelendi Aziba ntchito hakainde.
Can we do more? Yes, we can do more. The work continues. We want to rest even more.
Niwake mupando mulekeleni. Aziba ntchito hakainde. Niwake mupando mulekeleni. Aziba ntchito hakainde.
The preceding content is a political advert and does not reflect the views of Prime Television, but those of the content providers. The following is a political advert and does not reflect the views of Prime Television, but those of the content provider.
For decades, Zambia has searched for its promise. Through triumph, sacrifice, and difficult seasons. Many promised change. Many spoke of hope, but the burden remained heavy. And then, a servant of the people stepped forward. Not perfect, not a magician, but a man willing to lead his people through the wilderness toward a better Zambia. Like Moses leading his people toward the promised land. The journey was never meant to be easy, because nations are not built overnight. They are built through faith, sacrifice, and perseverance. The work is not finished, but Zambia is moving forward.
On the 13th of August 2026, vote for Hakainde Hichilema as President of the Republic of Zambia.
The preceding content is a political advert and does not reflect the views of Prime Television, but those of the content providers.
Before 2022, millions of Zambian children stayed home, not because they didn't want to learn, but because school was unaffordable for many families. Today, things are much better. No more tuition fees, no more PTA fees, and no more examination fees. More than 2.5 million children are back in class across the country, from villages to towns, from the cities to the districts and provinces. Schools are feeding our children and classrooms are again. And with the Enhanced Constituency Development Fund, communities around Zambia are transforming education. More classrooms are being built, more desks are being made, more teachers are being hired. Because Bali cares. He has delivered this for all children across Zambia. Because free education is not just a policy, it is a promise to every Zambian child, a promise that poverty will not decide their future. A promise delivered.
Why keep your business in the dark? Shine a spotlight on your brand with Prime TV2.
Has been assaulted by the ant.
Zambia's first ever 24-hour news channel and a trusted platform that helps business grow.
Botswana, of course, behind me is the Kazongola Bridge. And
we broadcast on Topstar, Channel 110, DTH platform, and reach an expanding digital audience through our Facebook page, PTV2 Zambia.
Such projects have been dotted across the country.
Advertise with us today. Contact our marketing team on 0978 71 9477. Prime TV2, the home of breaking news.
Welcome to new world of entertainment in Zambia. Cartoons, music, news, movies, drama, series, documentaries, food, travel, the best from Hollywood and Bollywood, international, and much more. Grab your Azam TV decoder at 350 Zambian Kwacha and full kit at 589 Zambian Kwacha. Affordable monthly packages: 100 Zambian Kwacha, 200 Zambian Kwacha, and 300 Zambian Kwacha. For more details, contact us on 971-246-222, 763-664-455. WhatsApp 77-500-0013. Azam TV, Entertainment for everybody.
Zambia heads to the 2026 general election, a defining moment for the nation's democracy. Who will win the presidential poll and what choice will shape Zambia's future? For the latest campaign updates, election stories and breaking development, tune in to Zambia, the home of breaking news 24/7. From the heart of Africa to the world, we bring you the stories, voices, and development shaping the continent. Stay informed with the in-depth reports, current affairs, politics, business, culture, and major headlines across Africa. Africa in Perspective News every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 15:30 hours, only on PTV2 Zambia, the home of breaking news 24/7.
A lovely good morning to you, Zambia, and thank you so much for joining us on this very beautiful edition of the Daybreak Special. Of course, we're coming to you live. That is on Prime Television Zambia and PTV2 Zambia, which is the home of breaking news. And of course, do not forget that we're broadcasting live on Topstar, channel 110, and of course, DSTV, channel 273, and GoTV, that's channel 94. And of course, we're also streaming worldwide, that is on our Facebook and YouTube. And so we're so glad that you could join us on this very beautiful morning, wherever you are watching us from. Definitely, you are welcome, and we can't wait to spend the rest of the hours with you. My name is Rhoda Mlenga, and of course I'm not alone on set. I'm joined by the two gentlemen.
Of course, about 3 days away from the general election.
Absolutely.
And of course, over the next 4 hours, we will interrogate the issues shaping the national conversation.
Yeah.
The campaigns are reaching climax, and of course, political parties are making their final arrangements for that. Voters are weighing promises against performances, and very soon the power will move from political platforms to the ballot box. And of course, it's going to be very, very interesting as well.
Absolutely. And of course, to our lovely viewers, you can also be part of today's program. You can call us on 0776 409840. That is 0776 409840. Or you can also leave your comments and your contributions in our comment section, that is on Facebook. Tell us what issue will influence your vote on August 13th. We do know that, we have been getting a lot of voter education, and it's been long overdue. So we want to hear your views. Also, you can just let us know what's happening in your various communities. Particular morning, we're always waking up to something in our community, something that is trending. Is there something that you want to tell us about this morning? Of course, we do have a packed program for you today, and we'll be crossing over to our news just to find out some of the stories that are making headlines in our news this morning. Let's veteran politician Mrs. Mumbi Piri, who is aligned with PF Pamozi Tonse political formation and supporting NRPUP presidential candidate Brian Muntubile, will be joining us for an amazing, conversation. Not want to miss. We will put difficult questions on her about the collapse and fragmentation of the Patriotic Front, the credibility of the current opposition, and the legacy of the former PF administration, and whether opposition parties have presented a convincing, alternative to the UPND government. We will also assess the UPND's 4 years and 11 months in government. Has the administration delivered enough, to earn another mandate, or have economic pressures, unmet expectations, weakened its case for re-election? What a beautiful show we'll be having today, John Mark.
Indeed, and of course, later we will, be joined by UPND media team member, Kephas Chisange. Of course, we'll be able to even ask him directly. Has the UPND delivered, what it promised in 2021? If the economy is improving, many households still complaining about the cost of living. We know, of course, JCTR has been able to shed more light on that. Has cadreism truly been defeated? Questions to do with, of course, even the political violence, if it has actually been addressed currently. And after nearly 5 years in office, can the UPND still blame inherited challenges, or must it now take responsibility for the state of the country at present? And of course, we'll also examine the controversy surrounding the video attributed to former Nkana Member of Parliament, Bino Mpundu. It's been making rounds, Rhoda, and Mr. Mpundu has disputed the authenticity of the video and reportedly claimed that it was generated using artificial intelligence. We will look at what an AI detection tool indicates, but importantly, we will also explain the limitations of such technology, because an online detector alone cannot conclusively establish whether a video is genuinely or manipulated. Later on, of course, our reporters in Western and Northwestern Province will join us and give us even an update. I think it's important that we also find out what is taking place jotted across the country, and it promises to be a very, very serious conversation this morning.
But before we get into, all of that, colleagues, we're coming from a politically eventful weekend with only 3 days before polling day. What is on your mind this morning? Anything on your mind? Anything, that you're thinking about today? It's going to be an eventful week, but I want to know what's
it's going to be quite a week, Rhoda, John Mark. It's good to sit with Rhoda for the first time. Sitting with you, Rhoda, it feels good. Yeah. Can we do this every day, Rhoda?
I think we should.
It has a different feel, doesn't it?
Nami, where are you? You've been replaced just like that.
I know, right?
You see,
I come with the vibes.
I know, right? I know.
It's going to be quite an eventful week, but also a decider, because of what's happening on Thursday. I think I love what you said in the introduction, that power is shifting from the political platforms to the booth, to the people. So you now understand that actually it's the people out there.
And the politicians need to be reminded.
Yeah.
That's why at a particular time you see them going into the constituencies. Of course, some of them have even been able to slaughter some animals. Others even washing in some constituencies. So it comes with the season.
It comes with the season. But also I think it's a very sacred responsibility on the part of the 8.7 million registered voters, because they are deciding the destiny for the rest of the 20 million people, in the country. So you don't want to make such a decision without, reasoning. You don't want to use Ichimwela like sometimes we've been used to, where we use Ichimwela to vote. I think we should be able to sit down, reason with logic. It's not like the way Rhoda how some people enter into relationships without thinking. No, love is blind. No, you have to really, someone says love is blind, but you open your eyes. So, so you really have to be very cautious that the decision you're making this Thursday is an important decision. It has the capacity to take the country forward or backwards. And by forward, I'm not using any slogan, because sometimes we are even too political that any word we use, you think you're thinking about a particular political party. Sure. So I think the 8.7 registered voters, 8.7 million registered voters, should be reminded that it's not a joke. It's not something you do because of your belly. It's a destiny of a country that we are talking about here. So in case you are there, you've registered to vote, you are among the 8.7 million registered voters. The shoulders of the country are on your neck. Because what you decide to do determines the flow of the country.
And it's going to be long years, of you deciding on that particular day comes with so many, years to come, for that particular individual that you get to pick. And also, like you said, it's a very critical, decision that people have to make. Just the other day, I was walking down the street, and I asked this woman to say, do you even know who the area member of parliament here? And she said, no, we actually got to know about him just recently, because of campaigns. And it's so sad to see that this is when leaders, decide to show up and want to do these mini gestures in the communities because you want to get the vote. But people need to know you. You need to have an open door policy where you get to, interact with the people in your community. And so, it's a very, very critical week.
These politicians, Rhoda, John Mark, need to be reminded that, look, the people trust them that much.
Sure.
That on looking at the pack of all the individuals aspiring to lead, they put their confidence in you. They put, it's like, look, Rhoda, 5 men come to you. All of them with very good manifestos. Rhoda will take you to the moon. You'll be that Neil Armstrong.
First man on the moon.
You'll be the first female to go to the moon. They promise you every holiday you'll be going to the Bahamas. Not this Siyavonga where you go local. So when you're making that decision, you have trusted the promises of this individual. No, I'll not be beating you. I'll not be cheating on you. I'll be coming early. So you have trusted your entire destiny in the hands of this individual. So this individual needs to know that he ought not to take you for granted. And I think the leaders we put into office and the ones we're putting into office this Thursday must also bear in mind that we are trusting them. And they shouldn't take us for a ride.
Yep.
I think you're really right. And, even over the weekend, I remember one person wrote a poll, was even telling me to say they can't wait for polling day. And now that we are about 4,000 minutes away from even casting a vote on Thursday, 6 hours, of course, up until 18 hours, you could feel even the mood sometimes can also, you can actually feel that it's actually very palpable, even on the ground. You can see that others can't wait for polling day. Others are really even eager. And I think even for the politicians themselves, I'm trying to also put myself in their shoes to say, they are trying to also now see if at all their message is going to be heard even on the polling day itself. How do you feel the mood is on the ground currently?
I think it's very safe. I think that's the word I can use. It's not. I think this election is a bit different. It's not too. We haven't seen much going on in terms of it's polling week, the noise, and I think it's just safe.
Yeah, I think this election is quite different from the other elections because there's also a lot of restrictions on how far people can go in talking because of the laws. And you may want to gloss over that all you want, but you can just see in Facebook comments, people just be saying, I don't have a lawyer. Meaning, if it wasn't for these laws, I'd have poured my heart out. So I think people are keeping...
Others will just literally type cyber.
Yes.
And just that will even tell you to say, I can't go anywhere.
That is telling you that I have a lot to say, but I'm also afraid of going to jail. So we should also bear in mind that yes, we have these good laws, to ensure that there's order in the cyberspace, but also it has closed our mouth to some extent because we don't know how to be seditious. Maybe if you know what I'm saying is sedition. So that's another thing. So I think people have a lot to say because if you interact with people on the ground now, one-on-one, you will now begin to hear what they're saying, which they can't say on social media. I have people that inbox me on a daily basis to share their opinions. And at the end, they'll indicate, please don't disclose me. Please don't make this public.
Make me unanimous.
Yeah. Simply telling you that, look, we have a lot to say. Yeah. So I think for me, the Thursday opportunity that the Zambians have is an opportunity to speak. Because there you are alone in the booth. So you're able to speak based on what you feel is right. Because I think one of the things we've seen in the last 3-4 months, Rhoda, John Mark, is that we've been divided based on which side you belong, which political party you prefer. So it's been very unhealthy. If the other day I was wearing a red, African attire, head, from the trousers, and one of the guests from the Tonsi Alliance walked in. First comment he made is, "You see your UPNG card, I'm even wearing red." Like, that's an innocent suit I was wearing. Yeah. But that's how polarized we have become people, taking us back to those days.
Paul, you've actually taken me back to yesterday. So we had some prayers at church for the nation. And in my mind, I was thinking to myself, Rhoda and Paul, that, my goodness, I thank God I was not given the mic. Because it was a difficult time to actually give prayer points. Because even just the prayers themselves, you could literally see that the ones who were holding the microphone meant well, but they were very selective with their words. Like Paul said, moving forward, just that forward can be taken or transcribed in a different type of connotation. So currently, what do you think we could be able to agree on, regardless of whichever side people can be on?
I think we should be able to realize, that people have a democratic right to choose where to belong. For as long as you're a citizen of this country, you shouldn't hide. It's not a crime, unless you're in a certain profession, like we. If Rhoda comes and tells me that, I'm voting for Mliokela, we will then be able to be hard on Rhoda. Look, your profession does not allow you to say this publicly. Yeah. But offset in your private life with your fiancé, I don't know if there's a fiancé or boyfriend, Rhoda, you should be able to agree. Look, sweet, I don't know how you call him. Babes, I don't know, how do you call him? Babes, me, I want this party. I want Mr. Mliokela. I think Alex Mliokela is the best. I'm using him because he's not on the ballot. Because if I give an example of those on the ballot, again, people say, why this one? Why not the other? So I think we should give room to people to be Zambians, to be able to be democratic. And key is that just because I don't agree with your preferred candidate does not make us enemies. I think that's very important. Just because, Rhoda, I disagree with you, doesn't mean that we are enemies.
Do you think that the average cadre out there understands that?
I don't think so. There will be no violence. There will be no political violence if we understood that.
I think also, I'm glad you brought up the issue of social media, and I've noticed that there are a lot of keyboard warriors, that you will be out there typing anything because they do not agree with your political views. Sure. They want to insult, they want to, say something, bad or whatever. But I also think that people have, the right to choose, like you said, and it shouldn't be about because you support this political party and I do not support, and so I want to insult you, I want to belittle you. I think the keyboard warriors are out there doing their thing, but also they're being very careful about what they say. Like you said, people are saying, I don't have a lawyer. They're also being very careful about that, and I'm so glad that there are these cyber laws that have actually put people in their place.
Yeah, but also restricted people, close their mouth. It's enshrined in our constitution. Freedom of expression is there. It's our right to speak. But how far can you go? That's the thin line. How far can you go, to air out your views that are already enshrined in the constitution? Yeah. You have a right to speak. You see, even in a home setup, Rhoda, John Mark, when as a man your wife doesn't talk be worried. Be worried. When your wife is, you come home 01, she even opens the door for you, even shows you where the food is, and goes to sleep and doesn't complain. Be worried. She sees messages, you're texting, instead of texting Prudence, John Mark, you text Sandra, good morning, babe. And she sees that, and she still doesn't say anything. That silence is actually regarded as mental torture. Because you will not be thinking, so why isn't she saying something about this particular behavior?
So could we say that the Zambians have been subjected to mental torture?
So to some extent, we must also get worried when people are afraid to talk and are just typing, I don't have a lawyer. That is not something to celebrate about.
Yeah.
It's not something
because they're not saying what they really want to say.
Which is their right, according to the Constitution. That's a challenge.
And remember that even on even the WhatsApp admins, we actually want to say, if you actually see anything that is contrary or that might even incite violence, you are also going to be liable as well.
I mean, people have seen the implications, and it's just, it would be very, very, you know, not okay for me not to reinforce what has happened in the past. I've seen people make very, you know, malicious comments, and you know, they've been taken to court. So they were watching. They know. You don't want to fall victim. You don't want to be the next one.
Sure.
But yeah, just before we get to the weather, you know, and Manny Marcus, you know, Rhoda, John Mark, I think as eventful as this week will be, we should remember that we are one people. That is our common denominator. We are free to associate ourselves with different political parties, but not at the expense of breaking us as a people. I think the ideologies that our forefathers, the Harry Mwanga Nkumbula, the Simon Mwansaka Pwepwe, you know, the Scotta Winner, the KK, that ideology they brought up and tried to protect with their blood is something that should be on us. I have told myself I'll put on this thing every day this week to remind myself that this is more important than any other. This is more important. So I think as eventful as this week will be, I think the Zambians must be reminded that there's one country was, you know, looking at the life of veteran politician VJ. There's something that he said, I think that's very important. When you're serving in the administration of KK as a minister, he noticed, because we had changed from multipartyism from 1964 to 1973, KK changed that in 1973, changed the laws to one-party state without involving the people. And people like VJ were enjoying the privileges of being in government. Sent as deputy commissioner, you know, sent as high commissioner, sent as ambassador at the United Nations, you know, brought in the country, set up the intelligence. He set up the intelligence. He was the first DG of the intelligence. But at some point, he told KK that, look, I am enjoying all this, but let's go back to multipartyism.
Despite enjoying the
he says, the Zambians deserve to have options in case they don't want UNIP. And according to VJ, he says, in that meeting, I even told the president that if you don't agree, I'll resign. Following day, VJ resigned. And set up the MMD as an NGO to push for the return of multipartyism. For me, that is a lesson that this country is more important than the opportunities we may get. Because if it was an average Zambian, Rhoda, John, like, you know, like, after Ronnie Kudia, you know, why should I suffer? If it was people like Daniel Munkombe, say, we get into government to eat. So why should I suffer? But he resigned, left the privileges of the civil service, and started pushing for the return of multipartyism. I think this week, Zambians should be reminded, this country is more important than UPND. This country is more important than NRP-UP. This country is more important than Citizens First or Socialist Party or the Given Katuta. All those, they must be reminded that we love this country more than we love them.
Do you think that some of the cadres would like in hear a statement like that. Because, to be honest with you, you're indirectly telling them that politicians come and politicians go. We've had presidents come, presidents go. This is not the first election that we have. It's not the last election that we have. And every time you're going towards the poll, it feels like whatever decision you make, the world is going to come to an end. Even up to now, there are individuals, when you speak to them, you can still feel that anxiety as if it's the end of the world if their political party loses.
And I think it's concerning, Rhoda, John Mark, if we have people that think like that. I think it's very concerning. Very concerning. Because if you look at people like VJ again, even when he managed to convince KK at some point, he resisted until the will of the people, prevailed. The people that set up MMD as an NGO, when in 1991, the laws changed to allow the return to multipartyism, the people in a circle in that NGO called MMD approached Vernon Mwanga that, look, now that we are on this, we've now registered MMD as a political party, lead as presidential candidate. We have you or ZCTU president, then Chiluba. So go and talk, the two of you, who can lead. Chiluba was staying in VJ's house here in Lusaka, every time he's in Lusaka. They went home to talk. First statement VJ made is, look, I don't want to be president. I just want to serve the interests of this country. So you run as president. That is how FTJ became presidential candidate on MMD. If VJ was power hungry, like we have politicians of today, he was the one that was supposed to be on the ballot. Possibly would have been the president of this country. Because in that election, MMD won by 74%. So VJ, if he was power hungry, he would have been the president. But loyalty to the country, not thinking with your bed. There were some ladies, god diggers. They are looking for men, right? Where they can milk from. They start asking, so Ubomba Kwisa. Instead of looking, there were some ladies choose men based on the pocket. Says, it's better I'm crying in a mansion than being happy in a compound.
Yeah.
So if our focus is ourselves, the belly, then we are making a grave mistake. But if our focus is this country, then we should remind every politician, even if that is the politician you prefer, even if that's the one you're going to vote for, when they are wrong, they are wrong. Because look, Rhoda, in wrapping up my thoughts on this, John Mark, even when VJ managed to become a minister in FTJ's government, in 2001, when FTJ was pushing for a third term, VJ said, stop this. Told Chiluba that, look, no, this is not what we fought for. Remember the struggles. If you do this, I'm going to resign. I'm going to resign. Can we have like that today? Just imagine a minister speaking like that to a president that stopped this corruption, or he also resigned.
You'd probably be and even as we're about to move on, honestly, Paul, I'm happy that you brought the aspect of remembering where we're coming from. Sometimes in order to move forward, you really have to look back. I'm glad you brought us back to the time of when he was ZCTU president, the time of the Chachacha riots that we did see. At one particular point in this nation, we saw even a white lady was actually gutted during those particular incidents as well. And we don't want to go back there. Our forefathers really worked so hard in order for us to be able to have cordial elections moving forward. And even as a nation, we've also been known as a beacon of peace, where we should continue to also have that particular election period not marred with any violence. And we're hoping that this particular week will go smoothly indeed, Rhoda.
Yeah, and of course this is when we just remember, our Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, because he always used to preach peace and unity at the end of the day. What I love about my country is that we always pray. And so this particular week, there are so many, special prayers just going towards elections?
Controversial ones, others, because others want to do a candlelight, prayer on Wednesday.
Exactly.
So yes, prayer, they are praying, but also very controversial.
How is that panning out, by the way?
Yeah, because the Catholic says they'll proceed. And
but shouldn't ECZ be the guidance?
I think they are yet to. And also the UPND says, okay, we'll also join and we'll be raising our hands forward. Also join you. As you are raising your candles, also be raising our feet.
Sounds like a political prayer.
Yeah. So prayer shouldn't be controversial. Prayer is something that unites us. So even as I know various churches are, arranging prayers, don't attach political connotations to the prayers. Anything.
Let's just pray for peace and unity, as we've been, always known for as Zambians. But you're still watching the Daybreak Special, and we're still here with you. We still have a lot of things to unpack for you on this special program, and we're just reminding you that we only have how many hours did you say?
About 4,000 hours. 72 hours, less than 72 hours.
Yes, we only have a few hours, we only have a few days to poll day, and today we're just reminding you that this week is definitely important, and there are a lot of things that we are going to be reflecting on. So if you want to give us your views, if you want to be part of this program, you can definitely come through to our social media platform and leave your comments and your contributions in the comment section. It's still early in the morning, so we want to know how the weather looks like, and of course our money markets for today. Don't go away. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. We're still on with you. And of course, today being a Monday is also a motivation Monday. We also just want to find out what's motivating you this morning, especially that we're trying to kick off the Monday Blues, which will definitely, by the end of the program, obviously we won't be having any Monday Blues. What's something that you do, like when you get up in the morning? Because I feel like I struggle sometimes I'm not an early morning person. Is there something that, you do that helps you to not to be sluggish in the morning?
For me, I think my ritual, and my pastor should not hear this.
I was avoiding to say that word, but you brought it out anyway.
My ritual, and my pastor shouldn't hear this. Because my pastor said, when you wake up, pray, read the Bible. Sorry. The first thing I do every morning just to put me in the mood, and also just to ensure that I'm up to speed, I browse through social media, just in case someone dies, just in case the world has closed, just in case there's a state of emergency, So I browse through things that happened whilst I was asleep, so that even if there was a time I remember waking up, I think 5:30 to 6 hours, I received a call from MD here, asking me something that happened previous night around 21, 22. And glad I followed that event before I slept. So you can imagine, I think I was going to be very blank. If you call me, what is this? And I'm like, oh, sir, I'm not aware. So I just ensure that before I get out of bed, I ensure I'm updated with happenings of the thing whilst I was acting dead in the night.
I mean, for the job that we do, it's very important in the morning that we just see what's happening on social media, if there's breaking news or whatever. But also what I love to do is that, there's a time that I put my phone on DND. I mean, if there's bad news, there's good news, it should wait until in the morning.
You don't want to disturb your thinking, your mentality in the course of the day.
I can't receive bad news, then I fail to sleep.
Even if someone wakes up in the night and says, I have to break up with you, you should wait until you wake up.
It should wait until I wake up. I must eat first also for me, to open social media or my phone to get to see what's happening. But what do you do, John Mark?
For me, I think music does it for me. Every morning, at least I have maybe something playing so that at least my mind, of course, it has to be my favorite songs as well. But like Paul said, even as I'm getting to maybe take some breakfast and whatnot, I'm always browsing through. But I like to browse as I walk, maybe walking to work or maybe getting to the vehicle and whatnot. So that for me is what actually does it. And of course, just a greeting also to a family member before I head out. At least I know they're okay, so that my mind is also set to say I don't have to worry while I'm on set. I know at least when people ask me, okay, just in case, how's mom, how's everyone else?
Yeah.
So you people, you don't call your spouses, your boyfriends and girlfriends in the morning when you wake up?
To say what?
Good morning, babe.
You think Rhoda was going to say that on set?
Yeah? You don't check up on your spouse to check whether they have woken up or they are dead. You don't check up on Prudence.
If I say yes, I'm wrong. If I say no, I'm wrong either way.
So it depends.
It depends.
Rhoda is the one that is checked upon. Do they check up on you early in the morning?
They do check up on me.
They do?
Yeah.
No, he does, not they. Because they means plural, right?
They. All right, so this morning, when we talk of motivation, we hear from Kenyan motivational speaker Ezekiel Kelly Odongo, who argues that breaking financial barriers requires discipline, resilience, and mental toughness. Let's have a listen.
Can you watch this? These people have the good heart to help, but they lack the capacity. The boat is too small, and the two of them are actually struggling to fit in. You see, one of the things that perpetuate the cycle of poverty in Africa is the guilt of success. Someone gets a small breakthrough, and they're already rowing their small boat, trying to pull the people that are drowning in poverty around them. You have a good heart, but you don't have the capacity yet. Take time to expand your boat so that when you are helping people, you don't drown with them. People will call you names, but they will forget when you begin to pull them to the big boat. This person is close to the shore. The vegetation is the evidence. And I want to assume that this point is not so deep that the man can sink, but he's looking like he was almost dying. There are people who will come to you looking like they will die if you don't help them with your small boat. Breaking a financial barrier requires a level of mental toughness.
Very, very interesting clip, and there's actually a lot to learn. When we talk of being successful, it requires a lot of financial discipline. And sometimes, you know, you want to be disciplined and people will call you stingy, you know, but you want to be disciplined and you want to keep your finances in check. And I think also the aspect of mental toughness is very important, because if you're mentally stable, you're able to also just make the right decisions when it comes to finances. Has anybody ever called you stingy because you're just trying to be financially disciplined?
In the African context, I don't think anyone escapes that tag, you know, because there's a thin line between being stingy but also knowing too well that you are supposed to raise someone in the family.
Yeah.
How we grew up is that most of us, you know, if you check, get 10 people in a room, more than half were taken to school by their uncles, aunties, you know, grandparents, you know, brothers, sisters. So because, you know, people lose their parents early, you know, things happen in life. And this extended family, I have always refused what the Western world wants to teach us as Africans, that helping my family is black tax. I have always refused that. I think it is wrong. It's unscriptural to call it black tax, because we are expected to render help. That's why in these homes now, Rhoda, you find it's mother, father, and children. That is not how we grew up. We had cousins, nephews, nieces, you know, in the home. And how our parents used to survive is a mystery, a great mystery. So for me, I think in as much as, yes, we promote a lot of discipline, but also let's not forget that some of the people out there wouldn't have gone to school if their uncle was being told that this is black tax. If their auntie or their brother were only thinking about the nuclear setup. Today, most of these children don't even know their uncles. The holidays, remember? Tikavarira, tena holiday. But those things have gone into oblivion.
And they wouldn't even complain. That's the thing about it. You find in a house you're about 15. You know, your uncle, your auntie is able to provide.
And that was normal.
Yeah, breakfast, lunch, you know, supper. But these days, it's like we don't see those things anymore.
And even back to what you mentioned, is there such a thing as being too generous? I like what you said, to say sometimes you also want to be financially smart as well, so that you could be able to keep your circle, because you can't provide for everyone. Someone once told me to, when I said I'm struggling, I'm trying to help out two people, he literally just told me, John Mark, you're not Jesus. Even he fed the 5,000, he did not feed the whole world. So is there such a thing as being too generous?
My view is that I hold very controversial views on giving. My view is that no one goes down giving. No one goes down giving. That I'm poor because I'm a giver. I think you're poor because you're not a giver.
So there's no one who has ever gone down because they were giving?
I don't believe that, because even, yes, the scriptures also remind us that a prudent man guides his affairs with discretion. So discretion, you're not a Father Christmas. You're not just giving anyhow, throwing money anyhow. But being, you know, discreet, you know, doesn't mean that you're stingy. You're just ensuring that, it's like, John Mark, if you were my young brother, you want money for school, I give you, you don't pay, you go and drink. No, I'll not give you again. So it's being responsible.
So next time if you don't give me, it's not that you're being stingy.
No. It's because of the way you're mishandling what you're being given. But I don't think people go down because of giving. I think the opposite is true. People go down for not giving. But I think discretion, I think, is of paramount importance. You don't throw money, even if Father Christmas only comes once a year, you don't throw money anyhow. You know, even if it's your girlfriend, John Mark, because she cries that no, she wants for hair, machosa. She wants for nails, at I want acrylic shan. Acrylic. There's a difference between the normal chan and
and acrylic. Acrylic.
Your machosa. No, I want for
for my edges.
I want for Mekako. Is Mekako still there? Your machosa. I want Jaribu machosa. You know. Discretion is also very important, but also don't have a kangaroo hand.
Yeah.
Where you don't stretch out.
And also maybe sometimes what we could also add on is that in as much as we are given, let's also teach people how to be financially stable, because sometimes you'll be giving giving. Every time they come back, you give them, and you know, before you know it, they start relying on you. And the day you decide to stop, you become enemies.
True.
Because automatically, that's how humans are. So we can also encourage people to be financially stable. If we can help, or we can help, yes, but also ask that person to say, what can I do for you to just be independent and, you know, start making your own money or finding ways of making money. I think that's also important.
I agree with you, because honestly, the dependency syndrome in Africa is really, really bad. If someone comes from the village and they're successful, and they try to actually even help out other individuals, what is actually interesting, and we don't talk about this as much, if you actually help someone, Rhoda, who maybe was coming up from maybe from either side of the family, and they are successful, the expectation is that particular individual will also take up your role for others as well. But majority of the individuals, once you help them, I'm safe and I'm okay, they expect the same person to consistently help. I think also that is also another challenge that we have.
You know that you can give yourself a challenge. Check even in our own families. The wealthiest in the families are givers. You can even do a scan. In your own family, check your own family, my own family. Check the people that have the most money. They are givers. There's a great power in giving, you know. And also, you know, sometimes even when you give and some people misuse, you'd have done your part. You'd have helped them. So next time they will not, you know, cry foul that you had an opportunity. And because I believe that these resources are just an entrustment. We're just stewards managing them for the real owner. We're not the owners. We're not possessors. We're just caretakers. So if I have money and there's a niece that needs to go to school, in my view is that is one of the reasons why I have that money.
Yeah.
So that niece can go to school. But if I'm just going to think about Priscilla and my two boys, then I'm very limited in my thinking. That is not my world alone. I've got the entire, I didn't fall from a tree.
The relatives need to also be reminded that you can't be helping the same person throughout.
Yeah.
Because others expect you to help them consistently. And then the moment you stop, you are a bad person.
Yeah.
Rhoda.
Yeah. But also, maybe when we talk about financial discipline, you know, another thing that we can talk about is the things that maybe would help us to be financially disciplined. I think one problem that I have, and I always admit this, I'm trying to change, by the way, you know, I like impulse buying, you know. I'll budget for things, but, you know.
Mr. Director, can you zoom in this hue? Was it bought
impulsively?
Yeah. You know, there's always times like when you want to go and buy a shoe, then you find, you know, there's another shoe on sale. That I've really been struggling with, but I'm working on that because I don't want this year to end and I have the same bad habits over and over.
Would it be wrong to say it's a female thing?
No. I think there are guys also that just
buy impulsively.
Yeah, are like that. But also, in addition, I think one of the things really, and I've said this several times, John Mark is a witness. You know, I've said several times that one of the things also that we need to work on is living a fake life, living beyond our means. There are a lot of people out there that are living beyond their means. Someone said humorously that people are not wise. They use the money they don't have to buy the things they don't need, to impress people that don't even like them. Because if people don't like you, Rhoda, even if you bring the best dress here, we'll find a fault in the dress. We'll find a fault. People would borrow to impress people for a wedding. If we don't like you, we'll come and eat your chicken and your rice. At the end, we'll find a fault. Your wedding dress. In our pocket. We'll still find a fault. It's a thing that we need to work on. Why we love living beyond our means.
Yeah.
People are renting houses that they have no business renting. You know, people are, these tellers, for example, in the bank, most of them, they don't earn a lot of money. But they drive my BM. I don't even know what BM and the banker has to do.
They call it keeping up appearances.
At whose expense? At your own expense? So that you impress Rhoda? I think people should learn to live within their means.
How far has, from your perspective, how far has social media also contributed to that notion? Because on social media, everybody is going to see Avonga. Tomorrow you see them Samvia Beach. The other day you see them at Victoria Falls. Then when you look at that, automatically you begin to look at yourself and say, Eish,
Nisharira.
So that notion, do you think that it has also been brought about because of social media?
Yes, I'm told others even go to the airport to pause as if they're traveling.
With suitcases.
With suitcases. With those things, what you call them, they even buy those things with a suitcase just to go and take a picture.
Pictures.
Just
and
come
back home, yeah.
To post on social media.
So that you show people that you are traveling.
I've actually seen others. A vehicle that's not there is at the shopping mall. As long as it's a good vehicle, they'll go and pause and then they'll post afterwards and life goes on.
Yeah. Buana, live your life. Live your life, you know. Life is in phases, men are in sizes. So enjoy your size per time. If you are living in a compound, if you're living in a face me, I face you, you know, a face me, I face you. It's a one-room house. If you're living in a face me, I face you, that is a stage. At that point, enjoy it. You know, if you are living in a house where the toilet is outside, that is also fine. You will not be there forever. Because men are in sizes. So a phase will change to another phase. If this point you have to negotiate, you have to have a mini meeting with the conductor before you get on a bus. That is a phase, you know.
You have to fight the conductor.
Instead of a bus, almost a conductor.
Board meeting.
You have a board meeting first, a mini meeting. If that is your stage, that is fine. You know, if it's your stage of driving a Vitz, that is fine.
Exactly.
A time will come when you begin to drive Ford Ranger, latest 2025. But people want to jump stages in life, and that is a great challenge. I don't know why we are living in such a society. Too much pressure, you know. Rather, people want to live.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it, but people are getting into debt. If you look at those statistics, John Mark, you know, the civil servants are highly indebted.
True. And that's the thing about it, because when you run out of money, you want to start borrowing, and sometimes, you know, you find somebody has, like, you know, a lot of debt. You're asking them, what did you use that money for? They don't even know what to point at.
Sure.
It's wigs, shoes, bags, you know, because you want to keep up appearances. And at the end of the day, you fail to pay back that money. What do? You get depressed. And this is why sometimes people even go as far as committing suicide. Because you just don't know what to do. You are trying to impress people. And at the end of the day, you take your own life, which is kind of sad.
Especially you ladies, you put a lot of these men under pressure. You put Rhoda and your colleagues, you're putting a lot of men under pressure these days because your fellow female folk. You're putting these young men under pressure. They have to borrow a vehicle to come and see you because some ladies say, I can't date a man that doesn't drive. Buana, buy your own vehicle. Why are you placing that standard on another person's child? I can't date a man that lives in this area. Me? You know? Even when I want to chill out, I can't chill in this area. You want the expensive places. And it's not at your expense, at the guy's
Somebody
expense.
else's expense.
So ladies also have contributed, Rhoda and your colleagues, you've contributed to this challenge. So I think help the young men, you know, Rhoda, to live within their means. Tell the guy that, look, I know your level and I'm okay. It's you I love, it's not what you have. I don't know if you have such ladies. Oh, look at Rhoda. Tell the guy.
Let me save Rhoda just for a moment. Maybe Oswald Kapuanga can help us out on that. Even as we just, of course, just transition briefly to Traffic Watch. Oswald calls himself Rhoda. He calls himself the traffic man. I don't know why he gave himself that name. But Oswald, over to you because we want to find out what is, of course, trending even on the roads as well. You'll be able to give us an update in terms of the rules and regulations along the road networks. It's important to also find out that aspect as well. Also getting to hear from RATSA PR, Mr. Mangolwa, that RATSA are going to be able to do everything possible to ensure that the roads are safe, leading to the polling day, during and even afterwards. But let Oswald the details.
This is Mwamba, the Deco Queen. She turns spaces from mayo to wow. She could fly to China for new products, but why pick jet lag when you've got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card? No flights, no visas, just browse, pay, done. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your Global Pay Card details, CVV, expiry date. Simple. Be like Mwamba. Get your Global Pay Card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, board.
Meet Suilanji. Curious, creative, always learning. New skills, global trends, she's in on it. Design or tech, she's exploring the best international options. And with the Airtel Money Global Pay Card, paying is the easy part. One quick tap and she's learning from the best. No stress, no visa, no problem. Even her parents are getting in on it. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your Global Pay Card details, CVV and expiry date, and that's it. Be like Suilanji. Get your Global Pay Card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Nabadwa wamene muno munzi apa nina 59 years. Mu 59 years yumo hospital patali so enzo tipasako bazimayi benangu bonongokera mulodi bana. Monga ine mu 1990 inapapira panjira pamene napapira penze pansanga so mwana anabwera alasiwa na mauzu anapitira pamene apa. So apa tionga government ilipo kuti awe
move Zambia forward together.
Why keep your business in the dark? Shine a spotlight on your brand with Prime TV 2.
Has been assaulted by the ant.
Zambia's first ever 24-hour news channel and a trusted platform that helps business grow.
Botswana, of course, behind me is the Kazongola Bridge.
We broadcast on Topstar, channel 110, DTH platform, and reach an expanding digital audience through our Facebook page, PTV2 Zambia.
Projects that have been dotted across the country.
Advertise with us today. Contact our marketing team on 0978 71 9477. Prime TV2, the home of breaking news.
The following is a political advert and does not reflect the views of Prime Television, but those of the content provider.
We will not rest until every Zambian family feels the benefit of this generational change.
Wake mupando mulekelendi Azibanchito hakainde Ni wake mupando mulekelendi Azibanchito hakainde Ni wake mupando mulekelendi Azibanchito hakainde Ni wake mupando mulekelendi Zibanchito hakainde Together twendele japapo Iseme pikatane yeah yeah Oh adi Together twendele japapo Iseme pikatane yeah yeah Niwake mupando mulekelendi Azibanchito hakainde 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 Niwake mupando mulekelendi Azibanchito hakainde
Can we do more? Yes, we can do more. The work continues. We want to rest even more.
Niwake mupando mulekelendi Azibanchito hakainde Niwake mupando mulekelendi Azibanchito hakainde
The preceding content is a political advert and does not reflect the views of Prime Television, but those of the content providers.
For decades, Zambia has searched for its promise. Through triumph, sacrifice, and difficult seasons. Many promised change. Many spoke of hope, but the burden remained heavy. And then, a servant of the people stepped forward. Not perfect, not a magician, but a man willing to lead his people through the wilderness toward a better Zambia. Like Moses leading his people toward the promised land. The journey was never meant to be easy, because nations are not built overnight. They are built through faith, sacrifice, and perseverance. The work is not finished, but Zambia is moving forward.
On the 13th of August 2026, vote for Hakainde Hichilema as President of the Republic of Zambia.
Early in the morning, fire on the stove, love in a pie, that's the life we know. From the fields to the table, every bite it shows. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Primarily me, the taste of home. Mama in the kitchen, we never eat alone. Primarily me, the taste of home.
Prime Mill Meal. Pure, proudly Zambian. The taste of home.
The following is a political advert and does not reflect the views of Prime Television, but those of the content provider.
For decades, Zambia has searched for its promise. Through triumph, sacrifice, and difficult seasons. Many promised change. Many spoke of hope, but the burden remained heavy. And then, a servant of the people stepped forward. Not perfect, not a magician, but a man willing to lead his people through the wilderness toward a better Zambia. Like Moses leading his people toward the promised land. The journey was never meant to be easy, because nations are not built overnight. They are built through faith, sacrifice, and perseverance. The work is not finished, but Zambia is moving forward.
On the 13th of August 2026, vote for Hakainde Hichilema as President of the Republic of Zambia.
The preceding content
Welcome back to our Daybreak special. We are live, that is on Prime Television and also on PTV2 Zambia. You can also follow us on our social media platforms and be part of this conversation this morning. We're counting down to the 13th August, and so we want to know how with the news diggers and see what is making headlines. We see a very, very interesting headline here that says, I'm ready to kill. I'm ready to die for this election, Binwell.
Yeah.
I know you know what to say.
Yeah, that's some shocker. Yeah, that's some shocker, first of all, for a politician to speak like that. I think we need to wait on what he has said. He said that is AI generated. and his presidential candidate has also defended him, that is AI. But maybe, for some of you that are yet to see this video, where the immediate past member of parliament for Nkana constituency, Bino Mpundu, uttered some things, he began, I was watching the video quite early in the morning, he began by stating, accusing the Electoral Commission of Zambia of not being fair, of not being ready for these elections, and also he began by stating that people have lost trust in the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Then he says, election not to be a pomkosh. It's like a do or die. We are ready to die. Me as Benoit, or not me, I'm talking about Benoit. He says, me as because people say I look like him. He says, as Benoit Mpundu, I am ready to die. I think that's fine if he ended there. Because they're talking about you, your life, you want to die, that's fine. And I am ready to kill. That is the part that is a bit concerning. But let's hear, for some of you that haven't watched the video, this is the video that has taken social media to a storm, where Bino Mpundu stated that he is ready to kill.
Our lives are at stake. Not to be kapwe mikoshpama elections haya. We are ready to die and we are ready to kill.
Oh, that is but that is Benoit saying election not to be a pomukosh. Meaning we put our neck on this. Say do or die. I'm ready to die, but I'm also ready to kill. Whether it's AI or not, it's up to the Zambians, because I think also at some point, not too long ago, we had AI attributed to Robert Chabinga that was talking about Imin Tesa. Brian Mundwile has since defended him, and this is what Brian Mundwile had to say on this particular issue, defending his the member of the Tonse Alliance. He says, we are happy that Benoit has indicated himself. We don't expect him to say that, and we're very happy that it has been confirmed that it is AI, because even us were shocked if that was him, but we're happy that it's not him. So this is what Brian Mundwile had to say.
The information that we saw on social media purported to be coming from Bino Mpundu, very strange right from the beginning, because Comrade Bino Mpundu, like all the other members, know the position that we take when it comes to the peaceful conduct of the electoral process. We are happy to know that he's gone back on social media. Apparently that was a fake, that was AI, if you want to call it that. He could not possibly speak like that. Even when we saw it, we knew that he could not represent the president's office and communicate a message of that sort. When we have continuously condemned violence, unlike our friends in the other political parties, when we have restrained our political supporters not to engage in any form of violence. So I would like to ask countrymen and women to ignore the message that is reported to have been communicated by Comrade Bino Mpundu. He himself has clarified that position. So we remain very peaceful and we promote peace.
Of course, that's Brian Mundwile.
Could that be AI as well?
No, at least that is not AI. Okay. He had a press briefing yesterday where he addressed quite a number of things on the ECZ's preparedness for this week's election, but also utilized the opportunity to speak into the matter concerning Bino Mpundu. But Bino has also been reported, has since been reported to the police for that video, and this is what was said by the person that has since reported him.
I have just reported one citizen of Zambia, Mr. Bino Mpundu, the former MP from Nkana, following the statements he made in one of the videos that he posted on his Facebook page. I have taken sight of the same, and I feel it is in bad taste. We are in a campaign and election mood, just few days before elections. I don't think Zambians should be made to live in fear and in terror. I'm calling upon the law enforcement agencies to thoroughly investigate such statements so that Zambians are not incited to do anything. Zambians should be able to be given confidence that the elections that we are about to go to will be managed in the most professional way. I also want to appeal to politicians and stakeholders to be above board. Politics should not be about a matter of life and death. Politics should not be about a matter of life and death, and we need to curtail such. I thank you.
All right, so there's the clip, Mr. Paul.
Yeah, so that is Fabian Mutele, who once reported Binwoo Mpundu to the Zambia police for that video. I think I've got a few thoughts around this. With due respect to Comrade, and I'm using Comrade because truly he's a comrade to me, you know, we talk with Binwoo Mpundu. We're not strangers to each other. So with due respect to Comrade, you know, Binwoo Mpundu, it's very difficult to believe that that's AI. And people have done a lot of detection. They've analyzed the video, including us here. We've analyzed that video. And from the available tools, a higher percentage shows that that is not AI. But of course, we can't conclude, because maybe there's also error on the tools we have used. But you realize also that he has the capacity to say that. Because also that's another thing. You know, there are certain couples, John Mark Roda. Wakuitana Roda ti na peza mamuna wako kuoteo na mkazi. Ukabeno endako ungashushi. Like, no, my husband is not like that. Why? Track record. But if you've caught him 5 times, if they call you, be like, I'm sure Vazo. Why? Track record. You know, even in the families the way we used to grow up, they even say that, look, but other children, even before you finish, you know that you can manage.
So because it's been well, it's believable.
We go back to what does he have the capacity to say that?
And you know, it's good you said Comrade, because the last time you actually interviewed him, you had to tell him to rescind the statement that I can't even repeat right here on TV. Because it's been well, so people actually believe just because it's him.
I have it on my social media page where I stopped him that IBA will come and fine us. Because the way to use this was an insult, like a literal insult on TV. I had to tell him, sir, rescind it.
Yeah.
Meaning, he has the capacity to say that. He has said it before. Right here at Prime. So, not to judge him, you know, but the best one can do in that regard is to apologize. We are in the era of digital advancement. It's very hard. Tell me which Zambian believed that that conversation Robert Chavinga had was AI. Tell me which Zambian believed. Tell me. I don't think any well-meaning Zambian believed that that conversation Robert had was AI. The best, you see, there's a lot of respect you get by apologizing. But when you also, because now you're making us look like we are not very exposed. It's like we are coming from the Shaka era. There are tools now that can help us determine we are tech savvy in this era. So to have someone say, that's AI, Bwana, we can get the same video and put it on an AI too. Like we have done and many others have done. And I said,
and just for clarity's sake, I know that we might not necessarily be experts so much in that particular field, but people would be able to ask to say which AI tool would actually be the best to use to be able to suffice. Others have talked about Hive, others have talked about AI video detectors, deep fake detectors as well, forensic analysis software, as well as source verification. So just for clarity's sake, which ones might people be able to depend on?
No, because that's a very difficult question to ask, because there's nothing like this is the standard or this is the one you can depend on. So there are various tools like you've itemized, and right now there's nothing like standard. No, so there are many tools that are available now, and you see AI is advancing. Some universities have even gone ahead to introduce that as a course degree program. You know, that is how advanced we are getting, and to have a leader come and tell us in this tech-savvy era that video is AI, and you want us to believe, you would have been safer, Comrade Bino, to apologize.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you brought up the issue of there's nothing wrong with apologizing. I think it's a situation where that video was made, posted, and probably he did not know that, people would interpret it or the implications of making such a video. And, it got to a point where now, obviously, a lot of people gave opinions, they spoke about it, and now he has realized to say, okay, this was really bad.
Yeah, he's realized that.
Pointing it to the direction of AI, I think a very simple apology would do.
Actually, you see, you gain a lot of respect from people. Look at what, taking you back in the days, look at what in the PF era David Mabumba did when those videos, explicit videos, were leaked of him showing like a girl his private parts. He didn't say it was AI. He just said, I'm sorry, and resigned. Guess what? Despite how explicit those videos were, because, by the way, Mabumba was not fired. He resigned by himself.
Yeah.
That is some morals at display, good morals at display. Guess what? In 2021, the Patriotic Front still adopted David Mabumba in Wapula as their candidate. And I remember vividly what Davis Muila said, that yes, he has owned his mistakes and has apologized, and the people in the constituency love him. Guess what? He won. This year, he's standing against a Kayang Onza student, that should be in Mwense. I can tell you is likely to win again. Why? He owned up the mistakes.
Yeah.
I think that is a challenge.
But don't you think that sometimes politicians are also scared of owning up their mistakes because of what can follow afterwards? Remember what happened because you have admitted.
Yeah, because look, even if it follows you, the judge will be very lenient. Because that's the cost of justice. When you apologize to a judge, look, we've not wasted your time. I'm sorry, I'm remorseful, I'll not repeat it. Even the judge will be lenient in sentencing you. That's something that maybe we need to encourage our leaders of today. That you are not, I know that many people, just to say sorry, I have said it that even in this era, John Mark Road, this I am sorry can save a lot of marriages out there. Just say, look, I'm sorry. Can save a lot of pride. Takes the people that even say, just apologize. Yes. That's pride speaking. Okay, sorry. Okay.
I'm sorry, but.
So, I think it was going to be better if he owned up and just apologized, because maybe I said, look, I think I was overtaken with emotions. Yeah. It's a very tricky period. We are tired. We are stressed. I was overtaken with things, but I don't retract the part where I'm saying I'm ready to die. But the part I said I'm ready to kill, please forgive me, dear Zambians. We will respect you like that.
Yeah.
But for you to go back, and you see, if you pay attention to what President Brian Mundubile said in that video, he said that we have seen Bino has gone back on social media to say that it was AI. Meaning, he has gone back to where he went, where he was.
Where he has been before.
Yes, so meaning, because according to Bino, I have not been on Facebook for some time. So it's not true. Bino, his president says he has gone back to say it's not AI. So meaning, the president knows that.
Do you think that the leaders of these political parties should be able to ensure that they at least give a warning to their cadres prior to the election and even afterwards, so that they don't issue such particular statements? Remember, when we had the ECL saga, we had statements coming left, right, and center. One particular time, we saw a statement from the UPND representative, Gertrude Menda, to be able to just say, please, moving forward, let no one else speak. Let the proper channels actually be used as well. So do you think that moving forward, we should be able to have some of these leaders literally give those particular statements? Because there are some individuals, the moment they speak, you know that you might be able to have apologies after.
Just be responsible in your speech, Bwana. It's a campaign period, you're expected to speak. But just be responsible.
But like you said, like Binwo has been able to have that particular history. So the moment he's going to be able to speak, he might make that mistake again.
But look at even in parliament. Atichimutu. Uri mkuru sana. Yateke punch temolu. You've heard those statements, right in the National Assembly. Do you know when Bemba say yateke punch, do you know what that is referring to? Yateke punch temolu. Those are big words you're using against elders. Ichimutu. Uri mkuru sana. I think we need to remind Comrade Bino Mpun that you have escaped a lot of errors you've made. Unfortunately, you are not learning lessons. Unfortunately, he's not learning lessons. Because if he did, just a press briefing, dear Zambians, I'm here to apologize for that word. Because to indicate that you are ready to kill, to kill, even Jesus Christ, when he was told that die for these people, he struggled with that. He struggled. He had to pray the whole night, Lord, if it's possible, let this cup pass away. It was a hard. Now you are saying you are ready to kill. Because of what? Elections? Because even the statement you are saying, election, not bigger Mukoshi. No! Election will not be a do or die.
Well, what does that really mean, that to become Mukoshi?
Sir, I have put my head on the chopping board. Because what he says,
to put it plainly,
what he says in that video is that some of us, we don't have a life after this election if we lose. If you watch the full video, which he has since deleted, but we are a tech savvy, we have the full video. He has since deleted it. Okay, so if it's AI and it's on your page, why have you deleted it? Why has he deleted it?
Do you think he's the only one who might be able to share those sentiments in his mind or in their mind?
I don't know which Zambian will be ready to kill for positions.
Because look at what happened just last week, Paul. We were discussing in Luempa what happened, those scenes that we saw. In Mongo, you could see that there was that particular tension. So you can be able to itemize to say, we saw that clip where people were moving with pangas. Is he the only one who might have that perspective based on what we've been able to see?
I hope he's the only one. I hope he's the only one that has such thoughts, really. Because,
and nobody else.
And nobody else, because those are very wrong thoughts to have where you are ready to kill. Even if, remove the part of being ready to kill. Being ready to die. No. No. Over positions. Elective positions. Because I think sometimes they forget what public service is. Why are you ready to die for public service? It's serving the people. If the people don't want you, they don't want you. Congratulate the next person that the people want. But to say, I'm ready to die, it's like me coming here, look, I love journalism too much. If you don't put me on the breakfast show, I'm ready to die. Sir, I can tell management, I'm not ready to die for my job.
You can say it live.
No, I'm not ready to die. Eh?
Yeah.
You know, that if you want to remove me from here and give me the whatever show, maybe 16 hours, local language, it's okay, I'll go there.
But you start with my
for this breakfast.
I can kill for this show. Oh, bwana.
Obviously, that headline has really grabbed, attention because it's very powerful and obviously emotionally charged as well. And obviously, there are questions that we just also want to ask, like at what point does passionate political rhetoric become dangerous, political rhetoric? And should political parties be more careful with language when tensions are already high?
Yeah, I think that's a very important, because now it's a period where the emotions are high. Elections are very emotive. Arabic cried when he lost to Michael Sata.
Yeah.
Arabic cried at the Supreme Court. They're very emotive, whole big man, crying because you've lost. KK cried. VJ shares that when KK lost to Chiluba in 1991, the elections were held on 31st of October, 1991. When he lost, VJ went to visit him in his house. The man was sobbing. Despite ruling for 27 years, what else would you want, honestly?
It also just gives you a picture that, power is sweet. People love power.
That's true.
And, some of these leaders are not really just willing to let go.
Yeah. You have been a president for 27 years. And yet, after you lose, you're still crying. You still want to be. Elections are very emotive. But I think at the core of it, it reveals the real intentions of these people we put in office. Because if it's genuinely about public service, we will be like Manawasa. When Manawasa was appointed vice president by Chiluba, after Chiluba won, and he noticed the corruption levels in his government, he resigned. He said, no, I'm not ready to die. I think he should have learned from Bino that some people are ready to die. He resigned and said, look, this is not what I like. I don't want this. By himself, he resigned. That is public service. But when you go in with your interest at heart, these are the issues. Because look at what he said. If that video is genuine, some of us don't have a livelihood after this election if we lose. Why should your life be tied to elective officers? Why? I don't think... there's a book I read by Robin Sharma. The title is A Leader Who Had No Title. It explains how we must aspire to be so influential that your life does not revolve around titles. You are still a leader despite not having an official title. If we had that mindset, I can tell you that people would be okay to hand over. Because you know that your life does not revolve. No wonder people when they retire, they reach 60 or 65, they still apply to work under contract. Bwana, you mean you don't have a life beyond public service? It's titles. You've seen people that are on leave and yet they are in the office. Bwana, you are on leave, what are you still doing in the office? So we need to, I think, introspect. Even as we go and vote, are we choosing people that are going in for themselves or to truly serve the public? Because if it's serving the public, you still have a life.
And that explains why some people are very emotive when it comes to even the elections road up poll. Because others, maybe in their mindsets, they're based on that statement, they might be thinking to themselves to say, if we lose these elections, I have to leave this country. Maybe they even think the next 2, 3, 4 years, I'll not get a tender. I won't be able to get a contract. Because in their minds, this is do or die.
Yeah, which isn't supposed to be the case. I think these conversations around what Bino is saying, honestly speaking, and if I'm going to offer any appeal, I'm going to call him after the show. And one of the things I'll tell him, if he's watching, sir, I'm going to call you after the show. Just apologize. You will gain the respect of the Zambians. Sometimes, even when Rhoda will tell you, as a lady, just imagine the husband, future husband, God forbid, has a child elsewhere. Then Rhoda hears it from the neighbor or from someone else that I'm not
God forbid for you.
that's what I'm about. God forbid. It's different reaction if the husband himself goes to road and says, I think there's an issue. There's a mistake. I'm not justifying it, but this is the issue. I don't want you to hear it from someone else.
Yeah.
I made a mistake and I'm sorry. Whatever punishment you can give. The way she would react is different than someone. The hurt and the pain will be different.
Yeah.
I think that is something that we need to remind the leaders. Look, sometimes it's important to just face the people and apologize. Yes, they will criticize you, they will cane you, but you'd have gained respect. Because that is the thing people had with Edgar Lungu, with Kadarism. He was not saying anything. Kadarism was in our face, and the man was not saying anything. Quiet.
And you know what they say about something that you don't condemn? It's like you have endorsed it.
Yes. Yeah. Silence means consent, meaning you've consented. So, comrade, I think you have some good following, really, some good influence, and it'll be important for him to own up.
Indeed, we'll just go a brief break, and then we shall be able to also continue deliberations on the other side. We shall also be able to read your messages, so drop a comment on our Facebook platform, and of course we shall be able to read your messages. Kudos to Kizito, I can see you in the comment section, commenting, saying, team, you look good. I think maybe he has heard what Rhoda said much earlier about the heels.
Oh, and he loves shoes.
Oh, he loves shoes?
Yeah, so I think we're in the same group.
Awesome.
But you
we'll go on a brief break. On the other side, we shall read your messages and continue discussions.
This is Mwamba, the Deco Queen. She turns spaces from mayo to wow. She could fly to China for new products, but why pick jet lag when you've got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card? No flights, no visas, just browse, pay, done. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. Simple. Be like Mwamba. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
After a long day of spreadsheets, traffic, and people saying circle back, Twambo just wants to stream his favorite show. But of course, his subscription expired. Good thing he's got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card for his global subscriptions. One tap and he's back in business. No panic, no drama. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. That's it. Show back on. Subscription paid. Life activated. Be like Twambo. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
As Zambia counts down to the 13th August general elections, PTV2 Zambia is your trusted source for every major update, every key development, and every decisive moment.
Campaigns are underway, promises are being made, and the battle for votes has officially begun.
During this election season, we will break down the 2026 general elections, comparing today's political landscape with 2021 and previous elections.
We analyze campaign promises, scrutinize manifestos, and we bring you in-depth coverage in 7 major local languages. Most importantly, we'll give the people the voice
in 2026 like we are 1994.
Because this election is all about the Zambian city.
Stay tuned to PTV2, the home of breaking news.
Say hello to the new Blue Band with vanilla. Double the yum with classic Blue Band flavor and rich creamy vanilla taste. New Blue Band with vanilla, the taste you love plus vanilla. Now available in stores countrywide.
Nabadu mene munomunzi hapa nina 59 years. Mu 59 years yumu hospital enze patali. So enzo tipasako bazimai benangu konongekera mulodi bana. Monga ine Mu 1990 inapapira panjira pamene napapira penze pansanga so mwana anabwera alasiwa na mauzu anapitira pamene apo so apa tionga government ilipo kuti awe batiyanganako ero batigwira na mpamvu awe tionga zikomo maningi ku government kuti baperekelele ba HH bali pampando.
308 maternity annexes built countrywide since 2021, but there's still more work to be done.
When women rise, Zambia rises. With unity, we will keep delivering and move Zambia forward together.
Why keep your business in the dark? Shine a spotlight on your brand with Prime TV2.
Has been assaulted by the ant.
Zambia's first ever 24-hour news channel and a trusted platform that helps business grow.
Botswana, of course, behind me is the Kazongola Bridge. And
we broadcast on Topstar, Channel 110, DTH platform, and reach an expanding digital audience through our Facebook page, PTV2 Zambia.
Projects that have been dotted across the country.
Advertise with us today. Contact our marketing team on 0978 71 9477. Prime TV2, the home of breaking news.
Just days before the elections, of course, we'll be able to cast our vote very, very shortly, even as a nation. And of course, Zambia will decide whether the UPND deserves another mandate. In 2021, the UPND came into office promising change. It promised a number of things. It promised that there's going to be economic recovery, lower living costs, jobs, an end to political violence and cadreism, stronger institutions and better governance. Nearly 5 years later, the question is no longer what the UPND promised. The question is what has actually been delivered by the UPND thus far. Joining us on set, Kefa Sange, UPND media team member on set with us today. Good morning, Mr. Tsenga, and welcome to today's edition.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, our viewers out there.
Indeed. And of course, first and foremost, I just want you to find out, how would you describe the electoral environment thus far?
Yeah, thank you so much. The environment right now as we speak is very calm, peaceful, and very accommodative, because you need to understand that where we are coming from, we have a history, right? Where we are coming from, you know, Pangas were the order of the day. I remember one scenario where I was stabbed in the chest. We just had a walk just through town of Kitwe as UPND members. It was bad with my friend who is seated there. It was terrible the way we were attacked by these militias who were sponsored by the PF then. It was terrible, and people were just watching. Had it not been for the taxi drivers, you know, but here we are today. So when you look at this environment, it's so excellent. Yes, we are not saying it's 100% peaceful. We may face some few pockets of violence here and there. It's normal. I will say it is normal because we are living under a sinful earth.
It's normal.
It's normal because you can't have a perfect system under this time, under this earth. Never.
Is that what you said when you were in opposition? It's normal.
When it is too much, it's abnormal.
When it's too much, it's abnormal. So yes, there's a certain level of cadreism that the UPND, in other words, can tolerate.
What I mean is, we have scored a distinction, in short. We can fail in 1 or 2 points, but we have scored a distinction. Why am I saying so? Ever since we started these campaigns, okay? You have seen our colleagues in the opposition confessing openly that my election. What does it mean? It means that the environment is very peaceful. Okay? It's very peaceful. So when I say it's normal, even in church, when a pastor is preaching, not everybody will believe in the word of God.
Aren't you changing your statements, Mr. Tsanga, as the UPND? Because not so long ago when you were in opposition, you said that you're going to bring Kadarism to an end, not to a distinction.
Yeah, so zero tolerance to corruption is not zero tolerance.
No, we're not talking about corruption, talk about Kadarism.
I mean, zero tolerance to Kadarism. Zero tolerance to violence is not zero violence. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about. Zero tolerance to violence is not zero violence. It means you may have violence out there. And this is why you have seen President Hakainde, for him to issue a statement to say, when you commit violence, you are on your own. It means violence is there. We are not saying violence is not there. It's there, but very few instances.
So in other words, what you had said when you were campaigning prior to 2021 should have been, you are going to limit Kadarism instead of bring it to an end, because that's what you had mentioned as the UPND.
Look, I posed a statement here. When you send your child to school and out of 10 they get 8, you are not going to call them as a failure. You call them that a person now pass. So the question should be, have you qualified on this issue of violence? The answer is yes, we have qualified, because we have scored a distinction. I told you to say we are living under. You cannot control everybody. These people that we have, they are coming from different backgrounds. Okay? Relying to myself and also to the viewers out there when I say, no, we are not angels. I've already told you. We are not angels. We are not God. If the Son of God came on earth here, he preached the gospel and they never believed him, who is President Hakainde Hichilema, for everybody to believe in his message? It's not possible. It's not possible.
So you're saying there are some levels of Kadarism that are acceptable?
Very few.
For example, we were talking before you came on set, alluded to what happened in Luempa, in Mongo. Let me just speak on Luempa. So you're saying as long as it's not everywhere in the country, even just a small pocket, the UPND can tolerate.
Our mission is to...
Others even had pangas, by the way.
Our mission is to eradicate it completely. But as I said, it's not possible. The answer is very simple.
So in other words, your goal was not realistic.
No,
to eradicate it.
I will tell you, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. When you ask the opposition themselves right now, they are confessing that this environment, this election is very calm. What does it mean? Even when we are facing these challenges of violence here and there, they're saying this election is very calm. I had a friend who just visited Zambia, and I was telling him to say, we are in a time of elections. He was saying, no. Because we know during time of election, it's very tense. But yeah, I can't see people going around doing everything.
Clearly, that individual does not watch prime television, because we also had shown not just in Mongo, not just in Mongo, not just in Luempa, but even in Kaputa, Kefas Sange, we actually recorded a story where a life was lost. NRPUP, by the way, in case you don't know, NRPUP was actually suspended for even campaigning because the life was lost. And just about a week or so ago, the Electoral Commission of Zambia lifted that suspension because of that particular death. So maybe that person, you should tell them to watch Prime TV, because there are scenes that we've seen.
We are living in a global village where everything has been compressed in one circle. Whether you are in America, whether in South Africa, we're able to see what is happening in Zambia. You know, technology is on our fingertips. So you can't tell me to say because it's in Kenya, it's in America, they can't follow. There are people following what is happening. Prime TV, as we speak right now, you are not confined in this room. You are all over the globe. So that you cannot qualify. Now, coming to the issue of the violence, me have already told you, violence is there. We agree. But very few pockets of violence. Violence that we are able to control and maintain. The violence that we had in the past, violence that we never used to control and maintain. Why? Because it was all over. It was the order of the day. But today, people are even afraid. Look at the incidents of Mongo in Western Province. Colleagues, sometimes you need to be, you people in the media need to be studying these issues. Honestly, when you look at that video and that scene, and this is why I won't comment much, the police are still investigating to see what really happened. Abantu baisa kwatikabo ampefiria asenda asukusa and everything. And also when you also follow at the rally, who provoked the situation? It's the same etishani chichi patichi chichi na tiara shuan. It's very difficult to pronounce anyway.
So it's about provocation. Are you just saying it because of provocation?
They provoked the police. They provoked the police by, spreading sand in the mouth of police and the eyes. How can you do such a thing? Honestly speaking, where you are seated, is that right? The police are human beings. They are there to provide law and order. When you become disorderly, they will show you how it.
What about what happened when it comes to Gary Nkombo in Mazabuka when he was filing in his nomination? Was he provoked?
No, those are issues I've seen even.
Was that a provocation?
The president came out to condemn. The party came out to condemn. We also condemned, because Gary Nkombo is a citizen of this nation. No matter how you may have differences, but he has to be given chance. And I stand to say it here. The police moved in, arrested the culprits, and the issues should be under the police and the courts. So that one you cannot, slap it and condemn the UPND. We came out openly to condemn every activity, every incident that happened in Mazabuka.
Let's also talk about fixing the economy, because President Hakainde Hichilema was using that as his slogan. We're going to be able to fix the economy. In case you have not checked the cost of living currently, according to JCTR, Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, stands at 11,599 kwacha as of right now. And if you ask the average Zambian gets about between 3,000, 5,000 going up. That's just the normal average job, so to say. The cost of living, side by side with what people are getting on the ground, leaves much to be desired. Do you feel that you are proud of the UPND based on what you had mentioned that you're going to fix the economy?
Thank you so much. This is an issue. When you look at in our manifesto, 2026-2031, one of the key issues that we are going to tackle is the cost of living. And the president has been on different platforms explaining this issue. Colleagues, you cannot build a beautiful house on a very, very weak foundation. Remember, in 2021, we came in government with a message of fixing the economy. The question that I need to ask you where you are seated, and also listeners and the viewers outside, has President Hakainde Hichilema fixed the economy? The answer is yes. How? Let's look at the economic indicators. When we came into power, the economy was growing at negative 2.8%. Supplementary budget, we are sitting close to it. We are funding our budget, remember. Locally, generated resources, we are funding it up to 80%. Our colleagues were only funding it up to 50%.
You sound just like the incumbent.
I'm coming. So when you look at these fundamentals, putting together, definitely they are showing you that the economy we have fixed. The GDP was at $19 billion. Today, the GDP is at $36 billion.
I'm so glad.
These are positives.
I'm so glad.
No.
I'm so glad that you've mentioned.
Don't disturb.
I know exactly where you're going.
I want to attach the issue of cost of living so that you understand why we are in this situation. So when you are fixing a broken car, engineer Yoneka, definitely before you repair the engine, you cannot fuel the amanone of that vehicle until you refurbish the engine, start moving. That's when you fuel the amanone. So we have now refurbished the engine, we have put the tires, we are now painting the body. So definitely after painting the body, the benefits amanoni abantu baramuvu. What are we saying? Now that the economy is stable, everything is in positives. What are we looking at? We are now looking at stabilizing the economy. Stabilizing the cost of living. How do you stabilize the cost of living? Number one, investing in production, reducing the cost of doing business, increasing production. Are we doing that? Have we started? The answer is yes. Look at the bumper harvest. Our colleague Sebakambwili, with his experience in parliament, is someone that we can look up to. He goes on some platform and he tells the Zambians to say, the reason why you are seeing this bumper
you're now diverting.
I'm talking of the
please, I've not asked you about Mr. Kambwili. I'm asking you about what the UPND has done. You've talked about GDP, you've talked about inflation. I'm glad that you've talked about that. But let me also take you back. Not long ago, the president was using graphs. And when he came out here, spoke quite well. Yes. Very articulate, must I add. Yes. And then we heard from a Catholic father who came out to say, to be honest with you, the people on the ground don't hear those things. If I'm going to quote him accurately. So at the end of the day, people, my auntie in Shangombo, my grandmother in Mugubudu, Kwakaputa, you think she'll be able to understand that about inflation and whatnot when she's going to be able to vote? I'm not saying that everyone from those particular areas are illiterate, but it's not everybody who understands these things. The question then they are simply asking is, how much is transport? How much is the cost of living? That is what they are concerned about.
That is very true. That's very true. But we cannot just disqualify the issue of graphs in every question that you do in the economy.
Do you think the electorate understand issues of graphs? Every one of them.
We have different categories of electorates that you meet in society. So when the father tells you to say someone who is very deep in the compound, that's very correct. But we have people like you. Do you also understand the things that I'm talking about? Yes, you do. So it's not everyone who is illiterate. We have people like you, Mwewa Sambidila, who are able to understand what we are doing, what we are explaining. And that's a job as media people to now explain these issues. This is why we are here. We are now.
So we should be the PR for the UPND.
We are here. We're not discussing you and the I here. We are discussing.
Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down to a family level. Imagine, in a family level, you've got a father, mother, and children, and you are expected to eat 3 meals a day. And then maybe a father in that particular instance says, okay, I think maybe I want to be able to maybe build a house so that we can stop renting. And then maybe you skip the second meal, and then maybe you just start eating supper. You think the children will be able to understand?
Definitely, the children won't understand you. They won't be happy. But you have to explain the situation. You tell them to say, Bane, remember, my salary is too small. Remember, we had debt. Now that we are paying this debt because we were to Congress, you wanted to grab this house. You wanted to grab our TV. You wanted to grab our kitchen. You wanted to grab our everything. Now we said, don't grab, we will start paying you. So the reason why you are eating once in a day is because we are paying this person.
Mr. Sangi, even as you are about to continue your line of thought, we have a call on the line. Of course, you could be able to reach out. The number should be on the screen quite shortly, but it is 07764098440. 07764098440. Directors, you know, once a call comes through, in fact, just have them come through. Mr. Tsangi can hold his line of thought. But for now, I think he can continue.
So I was explaining. So because of this scenario, now the owner has come to say, I will get the TV, I will get the house. He said, please give us time. Let's agree. Let's sit. That is not distraction. Let's sit and see how we can pay you your debt. Now, in that agreement, you say, okay, money 5 pinyo to send that. We'll be getting 3,000 kwacha. We'll be paying me towards that debt. You'll be remaining with it. 2,000 kwacha. Are you telling me you'll be eating chicken every day? The answer is no. So now you sit with the children, explain to them. Why? Because we are paying debt. Because this man wanted to grab our house. The airports that you are seeing, that our colleagues always...
We have a call on the line. Just kindly hold that thought, Mr. Tsangi. You're through to the special edition of Daybreak. Please let us know your name, where you're calling us from, and then you go ahead with your contribution. It must be within a minute, 30 seconds, because we want to accommodate other calls and also allow Mr. Tsangi to also finish his line of thought. Remember, we're also live on our platform, Prime Television Zambia. Do not forget to drop a comment, don't forget to like, and don't forget to share the link. You are through to Daybreak, special edition. Good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. You're through to Daybreak.
Hello?
Yes, good morning. You're through to the special edition of Daybreak.
Hello?
Please begin with your name.
Good morning, hello?
Good morning. Go ahead with your contribution.
I'm asking Florence.
Mkwaitu Alanda wa Florence.
Enquiring the Florida Cooperative Varelanda.
Enquiry, Derek is coming up sound here.
That one cannot be understandable by our kids. We are living in a very high cost living. We are trying to explain it to our kids. Tetulondoberwa omwana okwebasi iwotawaye nangunsonyikyaloko kiri our kids abaana bano ono banakitandasandisya musango ekyo. For the past 5 years we have just been explaining somuyinanikane ishkuba nati awa pasikawama lisa mulera ndechinka living nanikane yosikiremu on life yosikiremu naichila. And it is just going up and up without coming down. Now are we going to survive? So that's what my family is saying. So what family just depend on if how are we going to survive? Taking our kids to school, we are failing. It's not all about government school. About private schools. So once about benefits, government school and free education. Now when you are calculating the salaries that you are getting, salaries are no. But government because they are living in the high cost living. Food kuma general workers tapabo barundira kwa salaries. So mule tontonga so kutenga barundira masibo seven.
Mkwai puchi sheni.
General workers na barundira salaries.
Mayoto Atotela, Depashiri Pakuleka, thank you so much for calling through. Directors, we hold that call. Remember, your call must be within a minute, 30 seconds, so that we can accommodate others also who might want to call in. So thank you so much for calling through. Please ensure that your call is within a minute, 30 seconds. We appreciate that call, but any call beyond that, we have to cut it so that we can also have a smooth flow of calls. All right, we have a call on the line. You're through to Daybreak.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. You're through to Daybreak.
Hello.
You are through to Daybreak. Good morning, sir.
Hello.
We seem to have lost that caller, but please do reach out. The number to call is 0776409840. A call on the line. Good morning. Yes, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Kindly let us know your name and where you're calling us from, sir.
Morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Please go ahead with your contribution.
From Lusaka.
Yes, please.
I'm Joseph from Lusaka.
Mr. Joseph, we're waiting for contribution, sir.
Okay. Ningefuna kamba kuvaa wa mdala walipa TV ya. Surely, do you think Zambians will understand the high cost of living? Vantu ndrama zaina for an izumono maniki. Kapena imonepi you are part and parcel of cartel where you are given money, the sponsor to come on TV and tell us that we should be understanding. My brother, I'm telling you, people are going through it. Although my family might be feeding better, but I see my neighbors are struggling. Sometimes I feel bad for them. But when you are playing politics, you play with our lives, you play with people's lives. Let's be realistic. Thank you very much.
All right, directors, let's hold the phone line so that we can just give Mr. Tsanga an opportunity to even just respond to those calls. The first call actually had mentioned feeding from the national cake, which is maybe a preserve of the UPND. Are you part of a cartel?
Before I answer that, I don't know if your Florence she's a Christian. And I don't know, if can go for Chibemba, but now Florence na so sometimes I'm actually and the father that we have people may not understand for to land and Muchimusungu. So Muchibemba Florence, high cost of living. Panondi, Ninsumina. Yes, high cost of living. Ekoidi, power kainde. La moyosha muri manifesto. Ofena chilalo ndolo. Muri manifesto yesu. 2026 to 2031. Echo waleo shapo. Because apana mbakutu waleo pale high cost of living. Because economy na iwa stable. So the question that we need to ask each and every citizen is this: why do we have the high cost of living today? That's an issue. Is it because President Hakainde Hichilema imposed bad policies on the people of Zambia? The answer is no. The source of the high cost of living today, Hichilema tukwate high cost of living, is ninko mngole esho tuale liakale, chilikwati mwa Florence, na misenda ime na misanga panganda mwe elisha nyensala. Ile na misenda ime na mwewa titireni, mwe sakamana ninji saini, na rami shitirefi yakuli. Nami senda wa Florence, na mingisha mshopu na ngua paneba, tuwase ndenko kwa 100, unga, nefi ashara. Ewa mamia tuwa Florence, pali biu ya 10 pini, mwakeni for 1 pini. ina inipini nekefa sinkalipila ilivya mwari ya fionse vila mwapuisha ule mwini wa ndalama isa tindefu wa ndalama mwalanda tikawe nkuli kefa salamu pele ndalama eo mwawaisa kuline nabu tukanaangira pachani elo mwa Florence nomba mwasha na shireni Kongole mwambo kupiwa paka mshiripini kuti mwasa mtotela nekefa sinali mshirifi yakule. The answer is no. So the reason why we are passing through this phase is not President Hakainde Hichilema. It is actually the issue of in Kongole esho tuasangile. So mukusova nomba shireni Kongole because shireni Kongole tasha indalama teshi yesu shai sanama condition. Oh, first mwefa mutupele so ngata mwatupele so tuwexta so ngafina chila ndati walefa kupoka airport ya Palusaka na ya kundola because indalama tuwa kulemo yama airport teshi yesu shama Chinese nomba President Hakainde Hichilema ndati awe mwitupoka iyo vane tentuikale panshi tumonefo tungalanshanya. So umumwene mukuikala mukwamba nombo kulipile shini Kongole abantu bale chula wena Zambia cost of living there pamulu nomba twalanda ati apa natusova natulanshanya na babantu ishireni Kongole tulelipila tundamo tunono nishi tulelipila kwa ndamo tunono tulefuaya shireni dalama shala kushala twalingile kutwala kulia tuambe nomba kunisha ma sectors ma agriculture, manufacturing, muri health, education. That is what this government is doing now. Remember Jo na ba Florence imwe shisho mia kesho mkwete ine pano weni no wikele pano na lesa puta mwana wasa weni abantu aba mulusaka na mkopa belt bari muimine mwana wasa weni mwana wasa seti bane na tusange Nkongole they can tuchite suspend ukwingisha nchito no kulunda amasalazi y'abantu mwalimine imwe mwale mwita ati cabbage mwana wabula mano after mwana wasa asova ile Nkongole fishu ya chitike mu Zambia ichalo chose abantu bambiye kushitema yotoka bajambire kukula.
Please finish your line of thought.
Now if ya chitike kuri mwana wasa if akaenda lechitapa numba mwana senda shani umulandiro kumufika batulala ndatu apya nango apya na mabala if ya fintu alifisanga bari Kongola tetulanda titeifu is a government of Zambia akaindi asumina twasova shire Nkongole numba ili twasova economy yabawino imokuti mwasala ndati alafiro kuchita fix economy muri cost of living. The answer is no. He is going to fix now that we have now fixed the issue of debt. Not just fix economy. Na cost of living bakanabesa twala chita fix. Efo bachilala ndapo. Balela ndati no amasala epo washilapo mpawa. Nalu ndendalama close to 4,000 kwacha kuma civil servants. We have
come to the end of the conversation. I'll just give you a minute to give your final thoughts, and I'm hoping that you can couple your final thoughts with an answer to this question. In an event that the UPND does not come out as the winners of this coming election, would you be able to accept that as the party with your concluding remarks?
We are in a democracy. It's a competition. There's always a winner and a loser. So as we stand right now, we have two lanes that we are using, whether you lose or win. But I will tell you, we are winning this election. Ask me why. The answer is simple. Our colleagues have not campaigned in 3 provinces. They are saying those provinces, Tamawama vote. And this is why they have even decided not to go to Southern Province. Now, when you look at
30 seconds.
When you look at that statement, Vayalanda futi atolaipa ya bantu ngata tuwawinema election. Already the Zambians are watching. They are able to see the differentiation between a leader and a very bad leader. So my message is we are winning this election. I want to talk to our social cash transfer. Mwale chula kunga matwale fintu kuma market. Wakade bali mwekele mutengo. Wakanso weka imumonenefu mwale shupika. Ukufola masalaries. Bus station.
Thank you so much,
Mr.
Sange, for coming
these are the issues now you should
He calls himself the eye-opener, and he never stops talking unless I interrupt him.
Yarikaba.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be able to take a break, and then on the other side, we shall be able to read your messages. I know that Mr. Sange will also, though he'll be able to jot offset, he'll be able to respond to some of the messages on Facebook.
Definitely.
Very, very hopeful that you'll be able to do so. Keep the conversations going. We're going all the way up until 10, so you're stuck with us, and it's going to be a bumpy but nice ride.
Meet Mundia. He ditched the 9-to-5 to build his brand. And yeah, he's crushing it. With the Airtel Money Global Pay Card, he's not just buying ad space, he's building hype. He pays for ads the same way he sells most of his shoes. Online, fast, and always on. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. That's it. The Airtel Money Global Pay Card, that's what keeps it moving. Be like Mundia. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section.
Welcome back. Zambia is just 3 days away from the August 13th general elections, and the political choices before voters could not be more clearer with just 3 days to go. The ruling UPND is asking for another mandate. Opposition parties are also asking Zambians to remove it. But voters are entitled to ask both sides a fundamental question: why should we trust you with power? Our guest, she served as member secretary of the party's most recognizable political voices. Today, however, Zambia's opposition landscape looks quite different. The PF itself is fragmented. Several former PF leaders have taken different political paths, and our guest is now supporting Brian Mundwile and the NRPUP. This morning, we will examine the PF's legacy, the credibility of the current opposition, and whether NRPUP represents renewal or simply a rebranding of the political establishment Zambians rejected in 2021. Mrs. Mumbi Piri joins me on this particular segment. Ambassador, good morning and welcome to the Daybreak Special.
Good morning and good morning, everyone.
We are, first of all, very sad because we were expecting you in the studios this morning. 3 days to election, we thought it was going to be good to interact with you physically, but we're doing this via Zoom. Why have you changed your mind instead of coming to the studio?
You know, it's becoming extremely dangerous now to even be on our roads as a politician. People are getting abducted. Police, when they are arresting you, like the way they came to arrest me at my house, they were able to identify themselves, although they lied. When the gate was being opened by my grandchildren, they lied to say they were priests. And the children believed them because priests, a lot of priests come through my home. Having being a strong faith and married to an ex-seminarian, my husband was in the minor seminary before he became an engineer. So we interact a lot with priests. There is no truthfulness in this government. So to start exposing myself, going out, you never know. They can even come to the studio and pick me and you can't even defend me. By the time you're looking for my lawyers, it might be too late. You remember, are you aware that Ambassador Kamtumwa Martha Kamtumwa was arrested, and I don't know what the position is. They were picked from the Tonse Secretariat together with our daughter, Israel. So it's becoming extremely dangerous. You have to stay where people are so that if anything happens to you, at least people know what to do next.
Very unfortunate, but we are still very glad that you still joined us in this conversation. It's very important. And just to kickstart the conversation, Mrs. Piri, the Zambians out there do remember that you are once one of the most powerful officials in the Patriotic Front. You are deputy chief officer of the ruling party then. Today, the story is quite different. Senior figures who once stood together under the Patriotic Front are supporting different political formations. The big question this morning, even before we get into the meat of the conversation, is what happened to the mighty PF?
It's so sad, and for me, I found these problems when I came out of prison. And you may remember very well that when I spoke first, I encouraged the people who were at that time at the helm of our leadership to say, Miles Sampa is wanting to take over Patriotic Front, and he wasn't shy. He was telling us that was his uncle's party. Here I worked very closely with President Sata, may his soul rest in peace. You might not be aware that if not the only, at no time, even those who were closer to Mr. Sata, his children, the wife, the nieces, they kept quiet when Miles was claiming as such. I'm a very sad person, and I believe if Mr. Sata had to come back from the dead, Miles Sampa could be whipped. And
Miles
not
Sampa
suffice
could be whipped.
Can be whipped by Mr. Sata because he would get very upset with him. Mr. Sata was a very in where we called Mr. Sata Chibuku in the studio. And at the end of the day, Mr. Sata accommodated Willie Sanda when he came to join him. People like Chishimbaka is alive, you can ask him. The late Edgar Lungu, they protested. And Mr. Sata asked them, and Balungu used to talk about this. Mr. Sata asked him, is it you he poured Chibuku on? It is me. And I've forgiven him. Mr. Sata was a very forgiving man. But when Mr. Sata was alive, where was he? He was still working in the bank. He wasn't even in the party structure. Even when Mr. Sata won the election, who was Miles Sampa? He was a deputy minister. Basatanga badishimpire monamala Miles Sampa. Nishta bampangire full cabinet minister. But he was a deputy minister. So when I was telling people to say, let us leave this party, Miles Sampa, if I'm not there, then nobody has no blood of Mr. Sata. And I even wonder if he also has blood, because I believe his father, in fact himself, when Mr. Sata died, he went to Muchinga. And you remember, it's him from his own mouth who mentioned to say, Mr. Sata and his father were friends. And it's his father who pumped money in a PF because by then Mr. Sata was broke. I don't even know when Mr. Sata became broke, because the way I know Mr. Sata, he had quite some wealth. So I told the people, let us leave this party for Miles, because he's claiming it's his father's party, it's his uncle's party. And everybody from the relatives were quiet. So me, I was wondering, because truly if I was Mr. Sata's child, or Mr. Sata's wife, or Mr. Sata's niece or nephew, I could have put Miles in order, because Mr. Sata worked hard
So
for the Patriotic Front.
are you directly claiming that Miles is responsible for the death of the Patriotic Front?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Miles is
Because it's
responsible.
him. It's him. Can you imagine an opposition party the way UPND believes? Can you go for a convention, they even give you police protection on a holiday? The same day, even the fingerprints are done overnight. How many days did it take you? You have done fingerprints before when you are looking for a job. How many days did it take for you to take those fingerprints? And unfortunately, by UPND barete mingalato over a population of very educated people who can see through them. The registrar of society changed the papers the same day or the holiday. Who does that?
Are you
unless if you only have state support?
Yeah, right now, Mrs. Perry, can we be right? Can the Zambians be right to indicate that the Patriotic Front is still alive as a political movement, or can they be right if they say that it has effectively ceased to exist in its original form?
I don't know how you can put it, but to me, if you even when you look at those people who are following Mao Sampa and Chabinga, how many are they? How many are they? So you can make that judgment. But the blame is totally on Mao Sampa. And one day he will pay for his actions.
Before I move on to other matters, Mrs. Perry, if there was an opportunity for you to go back in time as a senior member of the Patriotic Front, what do you think the PF should have done differently prior to 2021 to ensure that you didn't lose that election?
Prior to that, we should have defended the lies which were being told by UPND. PF wasn't a bad party. Look at the infrastructure development which we left. But UPND used the propaganda to lie to the people of Zambia, which now the people have seen that they were lying. UPND can lie with a straight face. Let me give you a latest example of how they can lie with impunity. You can even have well-established organizations being lied upon by the president himself. Let me set this example. It's only last week when President Hakainde Hichilema went back to Mufumbwe and told the army in Mufumbwe, warning them that they shouldn't be harassing the people of Mufumbwe. And yet we had the commander of the Zambia army himself, Mr. Ziele, whatever, if it's general, what, I don't know how they call them, telling the people of Zambia, seated comfortably so, he told us that he had straight instructions from the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces? It's the president of the republic. The illegal miners of Kikonge in Mufumbwe. Of course, casualties are going to be there, but we have to have minimal casualties. Go into your dictionary. What is the meaning of extermination? What does extermination mean? Unless you are telling me that the commander for Zambia army didn't know the English he was using. We saw people being tied on the trees, being whipped by Zambia army. So now we are asking, whose orders were they? Because lives were lost there. Now the president refused. So now the Zambian people want to know, Who gave the soldiers the orders over those people who were killed?
But
that's the question we should ask.
Mr. Spirit, in the next 3 days, Zambians are going to choose the next set of leaders. But the memories are still very fresh that the PF government faced accusations of political violence, the PF government faced accusations of gatherism, excessive borrowing, shrinking space, concerns over governance. When you ask the Zambians, and it's clear most of you that have now rebranded under Brian Mundubile's NRP, UP, and the Tonse are basically the Patriotic Front members. When you ask Zambians to trust Brian Mundubile, whom you are supporting, you're simply saying they should trust the PF again. Is that the case with the memories so vivid, so clear?
It's the people themselves. In fact, there is a song which has been composed. When Badi says Bapompwe, people are responding at Abobe never Pompwe Turefua. I haven't heard that song. And when they say Bapompwe, who is Pompwe? Is the PF in power when Mwala Yui has been arrested for over copper? Is it the PF who were in power when gold changed into charcoal at the presidential pavilion at the international airport? Was PF in power? You have asked me, excuse me, you have asked me, let me answer what people are saying. You are distracting me. When you ask me, let me answer. Don't cut in. Is it the PF which, listen, is it the PF which has lost Sujilite? When you are talking about borrowing, is it PF which has taken the debt to 28 billion? Because PF left it at 11. The domestic debt was at how much? Can you show a single thing? I'm just coming from Southern Province. The people were telling me, we are also tired. How can they think we are developing here when they are only making 1 by 3 classroom blocks? And the people were, I didn't even know that it was in our time that Pemba Secondary School, which is along the road, which was built. It's an upstairs school in Pemba Southern Province. People have seen through them. You know, remember we say, whenever, whether it's good or bad, something positive comes out of this. People are seeing through the lies of UPND because even in the toilets, the infrastructure UPND is going to leave are the toilets and the 1 by 3 classroom block. And those toilets are not even functionable in Kitwe. That's all the borrowings they have done. Those are the two things. Because even CDF, me I'm in Chongwe, Tandavale ward to be specific. I can't point at any. She can't point at anything which has been constructed using that CDF. But we have heard of a member of parliament's wife who went to borrow, is it 100,000 kwacha in Ndola rural? And it was given at the expense of the people. So I don't know what has happened to my phone. I hope you can see me.
Yes,
can you see me clearly?
Yes, we can
see you clearly.
So it's up to the people of Zambia. Those who have benefited to the CDF, they can go ahead. Those who have benefited from the infrastructure.
Are you aware that you haven't answered my question?
When President Hakainde Hichilema,
Mrs. Peary, I don't know if you're around, but
are you aware that you haven't answered my question this morning? That's Mumbi Piri, technical glitch, but we will be able to get to her again just to understand why in the next 3 days the Zambians should be able to trust the Tonse Alliance presidential candidate Brian Mundubile, when, of course, it's very clear that the majority of the people that are in Tonse members, former members of the former ruling party, the Patriotic Front. You can let us know in the comments section what you think, whether the Patriotic Front members who are now under NRPUP deserve another mandate or not. You can let us know. Also be able to pick up your calls. Remember that we are going all the way up to the hour of 10. This is the Daybreak special this week, starting from today up to Monday, when, of course, the presidential results will be announced. We will be coming to you live from 6 to 10 hours. Be a part and parcel of the conversation. Get on our Facebook platform. Remember, also are live on the two forces, that's Prime Television Zambia as well as PTV2. On the other side, we get to speak to Mumbipiri yet again.
Airtel Money Global Pay Card, he's not just buying ad space, he's building hype. He pays for ads the same way he sells most of his shoes. Online, fast, and always on. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. That's it. The Airtel Money Global Pay Card, that's what keeps it moving. Be like Mundia. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section.
Meet Suilanji, curious, creative, always learning. New skills, global trends, she's in on it. Design or tech, she's exploring the best international options. And with the Airtel Money Global Pay Card, paying is the easy part. One quick tap and she's learning from the best. No stress, no visa, no problem. Even her parents are getting in on it. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date, and that's it. Be like Suilanji. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
This is Mwamba, the Deco Queen. She turns spaces from mayo to wow. She could fly to China for new products, but why pick jet lag when you've got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card? No flights, no visas, just browse, pay, done. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date. Simple. Be like Mwamba. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Meet Suilanji, curious, creative, always learning. New skills, global trends, she's in on it. Design or tech, she's exploring the best international options. And with Airtel Money Global Pay Card, paying is the easy part. One quick tap and she's learning from the best. No stress, no visa, no problem. Even her parents are getting in on it. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your global pay card details, CVV, and expiry date, and that's it. Be like Suilanji. Get your global pay card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
All right, you're still watching the Daybreak special right here on PTV2 and Prime Television Zambia as well. And we did have some interesting guests in the studio. One of them was actually in the studio, and that is Mr. Kefas Chisange, who is part of the UPND media team, and of course, so far in power as we're headed towards the election day on Thursday this week. Gentlemen.
Indeed. And of course, I'm glad that you began with Kefas, because for those who are listening in from your end, as well, to find out even from Paul, because in my view, he really struggled to be able to even respond to issues of the cost of living. Someone in the comment section sent a message to say that though you are saying JCTR is saying it's 7,599, that's just in Lusaka. In my mind, I was laughing to say that comment was actually someone maybe even who might be a political novice, because the majority of the elections that we've seen in the past are swayed by people from the Copper Belt and in Lusaka as well. So you cannot ignore that.
Yeah, but also you must also realize that, and I always like emphasizing this to the Zambians, that development, Bwana, is a process. And these are honest conversations, apolitical conversations we must be having. Development is a process. You expect that any party that forms government, if you expect them to do miracles in a short period of time, you are also helping them to lie to the people. Because development experts will tell you that this is a process. It's not an event. It's not an event. I have always argued that if UNIP only had 5 years or 10 years in office, there are things that we have right now that we're never going to see. So I think when we are analyzing, for example, how the ruling UPND has been able to perform, we must also be realistic. When Michael Sata was campaigning that in 90 days you are going to have more money, that was not a realistic promise.
And that's the thing. Then the blame should be on the politicians for making promises that are not realistic.
No, but also we, the Zambians, should be able to tell that there's political language and there are also realistic campaign promises.
What's the distinction? Because it seems there's a thin line to that.
Yeah, there's a thin line, but we should also be politically astute as voters. And that's a thing that lacks, where we take literal promises. My view, 10 hours I'm sworn in, 14 hours, that's a political language. My view, that's a political language, because that's abracadabra.
And if you've noticed from the call we had Madame Florence that called in. I think she also had a lot to say, though she didn't have enough time. I think she continued talking. But both the callers, that we had one issue that they wanted to speak about, or they spoke about, which is the cost of living. And when you were interviewing Mr. Kefas, there was one question that you asked, one that you told him to say. Probably some viewers or Zambian citizens will not understand, what he was saying, all those figures and whatnot. What the people are interested in is seeing things change, like the cost of living.
Yeah, but also look, that is one component of the economy. If you are to ask me, in the last 5 years that we've had the UPND in office, if we're going to go sector by sector, that's the best way to analyze. That's the best way. Because if you just want to pick out one aspect,
We have a call on the line. Just hold that thought. You're through to the special edition of Daybreak on PTV 1 and 2. Of course, you could be able to go ahead with your contribution. Please begin with your name. We seem to have lost that caller, but all right, great. We still have that call on the line. Good morning.
Morning.
Kindly let us know your name and where you're calling us from. Your name and where you're calling us from, sir. Yes, loud and clear.
Morning.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you are calling from.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Kindly indicate your name and where you're calling us from.
So just an emphasis, when you call in and you are connected, please just go ahead. You don't wait until you hear us. When you're connected, go ahead and just tell us your name and give us your views, because if you're able to hear us, that's a problem.
Indeed, and also just a reminder, please reduce the volume on your television set, because others try to listen from the set, and then of course we are getting feedback from our end.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. Please let us know your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello? Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Go ahead.
I can't get you, but I'm seeing you talking, but I can't get you.
Kindly go ahead with your contribution, sir.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Okay, this is the advocate, so I'm calling from Wansha.
Yes, please.
Are you able to get me?
Crystal clear, sir.
Okay, thank you. Agrippa from Wansha. Let me speak in my mother's tongue so that the assistant can hear. Thank you. Sometimes I'm very proud to be called a Zambian, because the way we analyze and the way we understand the things, it's very balancing. Like what our brother Paul is saying, if former Zambians were the problem. Personally, if a politician stands on a podium and starts talking about policies and promises and the like, I'm able to differentiate to say this is a political language and this is the real stuff. Like he has said, for 90 days, me from the word go, I said this is just a political language. When HH was in opposition, he was very much truthful. Not until he was told, can you start using political language? That's when you get to State House. That's when HH changed the language. Once I abantu abengi muno mu Zambia, we only pick one thing, one sector. For instance, you are the 50 kwacha. Now, me, I can tell you. Which means I'm buying nearly less than 50 kwacha in a HH. Now, let one more conquer sector by sector. We'll find what this man has done a lot.
As you conclude,
we need to appreciate. The problem is where we are coming from. And we think that is a good economy. And we need to forget we are living a problem. With HH, what a problem now, not what a problem.
Thank you so much for calling through. Please ensure that your call is within a minute 30 seconds so that we can accommodate others as well.
I see you talking, but I can't get you. So let me conclude, my brother. Let me conclude. I conclude now?
Yes, please.
Okay. You talked about you much question father or interested even Urutoshi what a process papa to Urutoshi. What a process. Kutika take up one she Hakaba Wadi even the economy, that's how it is. There is a process.
Thank you so much for reaching out. We're grateful that you've called in.
And start working. So this is how the economy is. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you for giving me time.
Thank you so much for reaching out. Please ensure that when you call in, you keep your call within a minute, 30 seconds. There are so many people trying to call in. Simply acknowledging what you had said to say, I think even as the electorate wrote a poll, we should be able to scrutinize what is political language and what is realistic. Because, for example, others questioned even Brian Mundubile that he had urged the farmers to keep that bag of maize so that upon being appointed into office, theoretically speaking, they'll be able to even give that 500 per bag as well.
And he also did mention a very important thing. He said, usually when somebody is in the opposition, they're very truthful, when they're speaking. But immediately they are elected as a president, the tone changes, and the things that they speak about change as well. Would we say that probably politicians are the same? It's always that case?
I can never agree to that. Politicians are never the same. It's like those ladies who say all men are dogs because of one disappointment from one man, and you want to categorize all of us into one basket. We are different, John Mark, right? Yeah, it's unfair to say John Mark is included in that when he has never disappointed any lady. Hello. So we cannot say, we have a caller on the line.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Prime TV.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning. Please go ahead with your contribution.
I can get you, but I can see you talking. I don't know if you can.
Go ahead with your contribution.
Okay. My name is Mr. No. Yeah, so I'll try to also speak in my mother tongue so that we can deliver more. So my contribution is to say, when every time as a nation we reach this time of voting, when we need to compare the previous government and the current government, truthfully we need to say that in my own opinion, not everything is 100% okay. But as a voter, when we are going to vote, different one by one. And mkona kwanga manifesto, I would say we've been listening to this opposition speaking. I think I've heard the manifesto for Al Kalawa and also the current president and the alliance. I would say I go first with the UPND and then Al Kalawa and then these others who say that. But when people we are to come back to be into Badura, it's true, politicians have to be honest. But as voters, we have also to know that as way back in 1991, that we were ready to kunuma. People said that in the following, but we came over now Dora. And it would be wrong to think to say that this is why we keep on changing government, because economy does not go like that. The UPND, they have got some things we can look at. They have 6, and you can say yes, but 7. But in this time, even you as the media, we learn much from you. It's very easy to vote people because of what you also talk about the leaders, because you give the guiding line. You're like a map. So when even you're advising us to say this, we need to be truthful to say that me, in my own view, I would say that the UPND, they have tried, they have worked, and truly they deserve a second chance because the economy is better than the way it was. And then when we're talking about the thing, the way the economy is doing, we have to look at what kind of economy did they inherit as the UPND government. So for me, I would say that as a Zambian, speaking on my own view, the last 5 years, I'm very grateful for what the UPND have tried to do for the people of Zambia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming through. It's good that we're having, different opinions.
That is the nature.
And different views as well.
That's the nature of democracy. We'll be able to get your calls after 9:30. Just in wrapping up my thoughts on this before we get, calls directors in that regard. One of the things, and I'm glad, like you stated, Rhoda, that we have diverse views. My thought is that we need to have a very serious endeavor as a country. A serious endeavor. Because if the mentality will build in the mind of the people is that if you have one issue with a particular government, you change. Every 5 years will be changing. If you have one issue, Rhoda, with a man, you change the man. I can tell you, you are going to have multiple men in 1 year. Because there's no perfect system. What we must be able to also is, we must also be a bit futuristic. In my view, I think if we're going to analyze various sectors, and I've never been shy to talk about sectors like education, I think this UPND has outdone itself when it comes. That's why it's important to look at sector by sector, because we can't just talk about cost of living alone and be blind to the other things. Then we're also, one of my thought, John Mark, I stated last week that when it comes to education, look at the increment of the accommodation allowance from 3,900 to 5,800. There are people that don't get that amount. The people that are working 1 to 30, they don't get that 5,800. It has been given to students. That, you can't see the results now, Rhoda. You will see the results after 10 years. These are conversations we must be having. I think, Rhoda, I doubt you'll be seated there without education. I doubt. When we talk about what do you bring on the table, Rhoda, I can confidently say, look, I bring education, value. And these are the things that we will be able to see maybe in the next 10 years. Because if you look at what KK did, for example, when he assumed office, officially in 1964, 1965 started constructing the University of Zambia. 1965. I'm sure, because then people that had finished Form 5 were accountable, able to count. Grade 12, able to count. And yet someone is building a university. Why not concentrate on secondary schools that you have a lot of people who are finishing grade 12? But yet, that's a futuristic thinking.
So at that time, it might have not necessarily made sense.
No. I'm sure that some people are laughing at him. Like, look, we're able to count how many people. Because look at, for example, if you read the autobiography of Vernon Mwanga, he says when they were living in Southern Province, his father was headmaster. There were only 4 Zambians that were educated. Only 4 Zambians that had some level of education. Even their houses, those 4. And it's only those 4 that were allowed to even buy whiskey. The rest of them.
What is that?
Only 4. Yeah. So if you want to drink whiskey, you go to the homes of those 4. But you see, even in that era, KK prioritized education. And today, how many graduates do we have? So if we are honest enough, the UPND has done some good in different sectors, education being one of them. Because if you look at, for example, the free education policy, in my view, even the opposition have failed to criticize that. They have failed to criticize that. That, I think they should stop calling CDF a game changer. Free education is the real game changer. Giving someone an opportunity to be in school, because that's the only thing that brings us together here.
But remember, in terms of criticizing, they've also said it's not just about having people come back to school, but the quality as well.
But the quality is being worked on through, because quality, I have always stated, quality hinges on 2 legs. The first leg in having quality education is infrastructure. You can't say it's quality education, you are learning under a tree. That's not quality.
And that has actually been addressed through the CDF classroom blocks.
Yes, the 1x3s we talk about. And another leg of quality education is the human resource. And look at how many teachers have been employed. So unless we want to be blind, deliberately, unless you just choose, okay, do you know one of the things that I'm very passionate about? Because I've seen various governments fail to implement it. We've been talking about the decentralization policy. You've heard that. Every government has been talking about, no, we need to decentralize. It has always been failing. Why? Every government has been pushing it without attaching resources. Without attaching resources. And that is what CDF now, the 40 million, is doing in the constituencies. Where, you know, some husbands will come home, DMTOs and CIs. Bwana, did you leave money? You will find on the plate the quality of food commensurate to the amount you left. So we can't blame underdevelopment in the rural areas when we've not financed the development. In my view, the Constituency Development Fund, the mining sector before the UPND, they were in court. You don't do mining in court, using President Chilema's words.
KCM and the Dante as an example.
You don't do mining in court.
There's a very interesting, good at talking, complaining and condemning everything, but sometimes we need to step back and look at things realistically. The cost of living is a challenge everywhere in the world. What matters is the difference in the cost of living from one place to another. He goes on to say you cannot seriously compare the cost of living in Lusaka with Kasama and pretend they are the same in the same way. Comparing London and Cheshire West is hardly a perfect comparison. Different cities have different housing costs, transport, expenses, wages, demand services, and economic opportunities. But somehow we want to turn every difference in prices into a political scandal. Before condemning everything, perhaps we should learn to understand the economics behind what we are complaining about. Talking is free, understanding the numbers is where the real work begins.
That's a very excellent message. That's what I'm saying. Maybe that calls for an indaba. Like, as we are complaining, look at, for example, the complaint around load shedding. Do you know that as Zambians, we were never very honest and fair to the UPND? It's not a party that brings rain. No. So El Nino came and the drought was there. And yet you're blaming a political party. Bwana, you're expecting HH to bring the rains?
And actually, even when he had explained about El Nino and La Nino, people said that's an excuse. But to be honest with you, any government would have been in office and the same would have happened.
The same thing. So how would you blame UPND for the drought we saw and the repercussions that come with a drought? But the issue is, how did the UPND manage the drought?
How did they respond?
How did they respond? Look, 2 years down the line, 2 years in a row, we've had a bumper harvest. A country, Rhoda, that came from a drought, we have bumper harvest.
And you know, there's some policies that they don't even talk about. For example, issues of water harvesting. They had even ensured that there was a weaver so that people could be able to get the equipment into the country as well. So there are those conversations that people don't even want to focus on, especially if you're looking at it from a particular lens.
Yeah, look, we need to be very honest to any political party that is in office. Any political party. PF was in office, there was COVID. And what was there before? There was also cholera. You saw the effects that has on the economy. If I like bringing the conversations closer to home. If Rhoda, Paul is your husband, hypothetically speaking. It was true. Rhoda is your husband.
You should have amplified that statement.
If Paul is your husband and he gets 25,000 per month, there's a lifestyle you are used to because of the 25,000. The day Paul loses a job and has no income, if you expect the same lifestyle, you're being unfair to Paul.
Absolutely.
You're being unfair. You expect the conditions to be the same despite the drought, we're being unfair. To not just the UPND, to any political party that would have been in office during that drought. We're going to be very unfair. How do you expect life to continue the same way when your father has lost a job?
There are eventualities in life, in other words.
Even in contracts, we call them force majeure. Like, I didn't expect this to happen. It has happened. So lifestyles have to change.
But also, I feel like these are things that we should decide as individuals. These are things we should take personal. I feel like also there are times when you are in opposition and you have these supporters. When you come on TV, you're condemning the ruling party, and usually supporters have this thing of listening to you and not really seeing beyond that. So these are personal issues or decisions that we need to look at. As an individual, I know there's probably a candidate that I'm supporting, but I need to look beyond that. Let me also see like some of the benefits that this government has brought in, and not just following blindly because my leader says no, this government hasn't done anything. I'm like, yes, true, that is true. So I'm voting based on that. So these are personal things that I need to decide. So let's look beyond that. Look at what the current government has done. Personally, what have they achieved? Let's not just support blindly and follow suit because my leader says this and that.
Said this. And you see, whoever wins, even if, for example, it is Harry Kalaba that wins this week, even if it's Fred Membe, even if it's Brad Mundubile,
or Given Katut,
or any other, we've been told that we're anticipating a drought this year, by the way. That's what the minister has told us, that a drought, even FRA, I hosted FRA Vice Board Chairperson just last week, and they emphasized that we are expecting a drought. So, dear Zambians, if, for example, Brad Mundubile, as an example, wins, or Harry Kalaba wins, and the drought comes, and there's load shedding,
and we start blaming
him, I don't think it would be fair to Brian Mundubile. I don't think it would be fair to Harry Kalaba or Fred Membe, regardless of who's the president. I don't think so. So for me, I think we need to be having some serious conversations on the challenges, but also on how the political parties are responding to the challenges that we are going through.
And maybe even before we get to the core, Paul, I think it's also very interesting that despite the fact that we have talked about El Nino, La Nino, isn't it ironic that none of the candidates have made any promises to do with what they'll be able to do in an event that this actually takes place?
That's a challenge. It's a huge challenge, actually, because these are things that affect every facet of the economy. The UPND government had to go back in the National Assembly to do a supplementary budget because of El Nino. The president had to call for a state of emergency, national emergency, because of the same. So we cannot ignore eventualities in life.
Just hold your thoughts, gentlemen. We have our reporters. We also want to find out what's happening in other parts of the country. So we're now joined by our reporter Marcus Sakubita in Western Province and Jackson Mwansa in Northwestern Province. Gentlemen, good morning. You're live on the Daybreak Special.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you.
We'll begin with
Marcus in Western Province. Let us begin with you, Marcus.
The political tensions, reported incidents recorded recently. What is the mood among the voters in Western Province right now?
Thank you so much for the opportunity given to me to speak about the atmosphere with regards to the upcoming election in Western Province. I think from the time we had that incident in Luamba, we haven't had any pockets of violence so far in the province. I think everyone is content of what the situation will be like on that particular day. But so far, so good. Everything is calm, is quiet. And this campaign period is somehow unique from the one that we had in 2021. 2021, we had quite a number of activities around, campaigns were all over the place. But this time around, I think our politicians have gone digital. Because what we're seeing is more of the activities are done online on social media platforms such as Facebook and also WhatsApp. So we don't really have much activity on the ground. So even the politicians themselves, they have taken their campaigns mostly in the rural communities where people don't have access to online information. But in these urban areas, there are very few activities in terms of people gathering, campaigning, and everything. Yeah.
Okay, and are people excited, anxious, or determined to participate on Thursday?
Yeah, of course. They are looking forward to casting their vote on that day. Yeah, I think the only issue that we have observed so far is the issue of members of parliament. Because previously the complaints were that in other constituencies, not every constituency, but in some constituencies, there was a situation where these members of parliament aligned themselves to a particular group of people, which the community feel they benefited the most. Okay, they benefited the most from these social protection programs such as CDF loans, grants, and also cash for work. So this time around, they are looking forward to electing different leaders based on what they feel did not impress them that time. But on the other levels of presidency and stuff, it's very quiet anyway.
Marcus, before we get to also hear from you as well, I want to find out, following what happened in Luempa, you had mentioned, we saw that stones were flying, people
were dashing to their vehicles so that they could be able to run away from that very, very scary scene. Even when you watch the video, you can feel the tension. It's palpable. How is the mood currently there?
No, everything is okay right now. The situation is back to normal in Luampa, you know, especially that this fracas was in people from Lusaka and the people from Luampa. Maybe if the situation where the people from Luampa were fighting amongst themselves, we would have expected a different picture after that. But because these were people that were in transit.
There. Is it mining, employment, roads, agriculture, CDF, or perhaps something else?
Was Jackson, that coming to me? Oh, okay.
That was directed to Jackson.
Okay.
Jackson, are you able to hear us?
Yes, sir.
I was basically asking you to say what campaign promises are dominating discussions there. Is it to do with the mining sector, perhaps issues of employment, CDF, or perhaps there's something else that has been pitched to the electorate?
Actually, it's employment and economic opportunities among the biggest issues, especially for young people. And mining is also a major talking point because of the province's economic importance, and also road infrastructure, agriculture, and access for such as timber farmers. You know, they have been particularly, they are been particularly interested in issues surrounding the farmer input support program, and of course, timely inputs and payment for agriculture.
All right, I want to find out, how would you describe the security situation thus far?
Come again?
How would you describe
the security situation thus far?
I can't get you.
Describe the security situation thus far. Issues of security.
Issues of security, quite all right. Otherwise, police have intensified security, and also the only concern, members of the political parties, they are just concerned of, some independent candidates. They are, they alleged that they're being harassed and so on. So they're looking forward to see that they are being protected during this.
And back to Marcus, I also wanted to find out, have election materials and officials begun moving into position?
Yes. I think about 4 days ago, we received ballot papers. We at Prime TV, we had the privilege to cover one of the districts, which is Kaoma district, where we witnessed the arrival of these election materials, such as ballot papers.
All right, and we actually
covered the story last week in one particular area where the holding room was having a challenge receiving the pallets because the pallet was actually too big. How has it been in terms of the packaging? Any challenges in that regard?
Yes, like Kaoma Civic Center, the storeroom that was allocated to store these election materials, its entry point was slightly small for the pallets to go through. So what they did was to unpackage those boxes and just take them in as boxes and restart in a more secure manner.
Okay, I'll pose the same question.
And how was it in terms of the pallets and even the holding rooms, issues of security, issues of safety regarding the pallets as well?
Actually, the ballot papers, as they are put in one of the containers for ECZ. So today is when they are opening that container, and then political parties were asked to come and attend and verify. So actually, it's where I was heading to now, just to make sure that I attend this meeting. So far, the ballot box for ballot papers actually still safe and intact, and no vehicle has been allowed to park around that area.
All right, Naomi, Paul, any addition?
You just call me Naomi.
Oh, I think I'm used to Naomi. My goodness. All right, Jackson.
Maybe just my last question. How prepared are you in terms of coverage as journalists in your areas?
Can I chip in?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, we're very prepared. We've had the case. I've undergone a training by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, I think a month ago, where we're taught on these new laws that have been put in place by the commission. You know, yeah. So with that information being in place and stuff, I feel I'm ready to cover this election.
Jackson, we could probably pose the same question to you as well.
Yes, sir.
Jackson, I even as reporters on the ground, are you also ready to cover the elections as well?
Actually, very much ready. Today is when we are finalizing with our last meeting, the media and the police. Otherwise, I'm ready to cover this election after undergone the trainings from I think last week. So all in all, I'm prepared, and today I'm doing my accreditation for both Solwezi and Mushindamo.
Wonderful.
So much, gentlemen, for speaking to us this morning.
Thank you.
All right.
So that was
Sakbita in Western Province and Jackson Mwansa in Northwestern Province, just giving us a picture of what exactly is going on in those areas. And our team here at Prime Television, PTV2 Zambia, very much ready to give you first-hand information in terms of how these elections will be unfolding. Throughout this entire week, we will be giving you that information that you deserve in the comfort of your homes, your offices, wherever you are going to be watching us from.
Indeed, I think it's very important that we inform the Zambians that there is no station they should switch to this week other than Prime Television Zambia. We'll be able to give them updates both in the morning and also very interesting programs in the evening, but on Port Day also it will be live throughout, just to ensure that, and beyond that, to ensure that as the results trickle in, we update you on the happenings. So you have no business really going anywhere else apart from PTV2 and Prime Television Zambia.
Absolutely. Maybe we can also get to just read a few messages and see what the people are saying, especially on Facebook. John Mark.
Most definitely. So Brian Malupenga says, of course, greeting DBF and of course asking about Mumbi Piri. Says, but Prime TV, how can you be interviewing Mumbi Piri? Can you compare the freedom which the opposition have compared to their regime? That's according to Brian Malupenga. And of course, Emmanuel says, the gentleman is saying the cost of living is as a result of the borrowed money, but the US dollar has come down. But why not seeing goods always skyrocketing? So you could still see that there's a lot of uncertainty as to why the cost of living keeps rising as well. And Danny says, and why are these people the same when it comes to answering correctly? They all go parallel to the question. That's according to Danny. And of course, Odd Facts speaking about Zambians are exceptionally good at talking. I think you read this message earlier on. Ntombolo says, for the love of God, stop calling lies political language. Politics and language have have nothing to do with lies. Paul, alluding to what we are talking about, to differentiate political rhetoric and campaign promises that are realistic.
Yeah, unless we want to be naive, but politicians will always be politicians. There are things they will say that they're just politicking. That's why the word exists. They will always politic. So it's not just lying, it's just politicking.
And it's up to the electorate to translate.
It's up to you, really. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very, very true. And I think in the interest of time, we have about 10 more minutes. We could be able to also get some calls so that we can accommodate what you have to say as well, not just via our Facebook platform, but even calling through. The number to call is 077-6409-840, 077-6409-840. Even as you are calling in, kindly reduce the volume on your television set. Then you could be able to reach out to us. Please keep your call within a minute, 30 seconds, and then we'll be able to accommodate your call. Please remember that as you call in, you begin with your name, where you reside, your board, and then you can go ahead with your contribution. If you're unable to hear us from your end, you could still just go ahead with your contribution, as long as, of course, you've
we'll definitely
dialed
give
the right
you a
number.
thumbs up.
Most definitely.
If you're able to see. And also, that just reminds me that we've hosted, the ECZ before here, and they were just reminding us that there are certain small mistakes that people make on poll day. But obviously, we do have a caller. Hello, good morning. You're through to the Daybreak Special.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Go ahead with your contribution.
Hello, good morning.
Please go ahead with your contribution.
Hello?
Maybe we can move on to the next caller.
Yeah.
Please, when you call in, reduce the volume on the television set. I know that some might want to hear themselves from the set. That can hinder.
Also, I think if you can't
calls.
hear us, just go on with your
True.
contribution.
Hello?
Sure.
Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Please go ahead with your contribution.
I think the instruction is very clear. Once you are connected, please go ahead with your contribution.
Just speak. Go on.
Indeed. Remember, the number is 077-6409-840, 077-6409-840. As we're in the dying embers of the show, the special edition, kindly let us know your opinions even as you call through. If you're unable to reach out, you can drop a comment on Facebook. Good morning.
I would like to concur with my brother there who is having my spectacles. That we suffered during load shedding. And I remember in 2019, we had a drought. And at that time, HH was in the opposition. And the HH advised the PS government that don't go and buy power from ESCON, which means South African company. Just build up your own solar power plant, which is going to help us even in the future. But the PS government never listened, and they went ahead and bought from outside. This is exactly what President HH did when the 2023-2024 season had a drought. He said that he just said that we should suffer and then we build our own power plant, like solar, thermal. Eventually, that's what he did, and he has come up with 1,000 megawatts of solar, about 850, which is still coming in thermal. So in the event of drought, you can still rely on this, even though at the moment it's not yet enough, because in Zambia we still need about 2,240,200 megawatts of power to that's Zambia, that's what we consume. I think that's my contribution.
Thank you very much for your contribution. I think, Paul, maybe you can pick that up. I think it was directed to you because you brought out something.
Can accommodate another caller, yeah?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello, you're through to Daybreak Special. Your name and where you calling us from?
Hello?
Hello, you're through to Daybreak Special. Your name and where you calling us from? Hello, you're through to Daybreak Special. Your name and where you calling us from? Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello?
Please go ahead with your contribution.
Hello?
Please go ahead with your contribution. We can hear you.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Maybe we'll be able to ensure that we give you even more ample time tomorrow as well. But thank you so much for trying to reach out to us. You can still have them on.
PF inasebenza lapanga maskulu lapanga marodi lapanga mabridge PF inasebenza to aska bali PF PF ndi wakangiwa aba 3 days apa wachoka mpawa ndo wayona so that mwakangiwa mwantu magamba tipa free education na CDF ndabari wa CDF siziona ndoziona mkomboni zili kuti ndrama zamene zilichepa paper ndrama za CDF sizili pa ground ya ndio problem ya ndio bala ningira charo paper swala ningira charo physical kuti vantu vakazoona development yaziko because ndava la CDF vamavote million CDF sizooneka mkomboni iri kuti vapanga chani mamarket vapanga kamarket kandrama less than 500 kwacha ino vantu fabula stika CDF market development yandingakamba development vakangiwa netiroga yafika tiina munduviri pasa munduviri.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Once again, it's good to hear different or diverse views from our callers, from the viewers watching us at home. In case you have any thoughts this morning, please go through to our social media platform, that is Prime Television Zambia. We're also... Hello?
Hello?
Kindly go ahead with your contribution.
I'm calling from Mansa. Contribution yangu yako ati atumo gesha kwa kulanda kusuku wantu kwa abantu ili kule bokuya mukuvota baba abantu abakwe bati bateke emitima ele bafure bayishoko bati tuli bantu mabomene elyo tulingiro kuikatana no kumfwana elyo chimbi chakwe bakwe bati twaliposha munkondo mufya kulalwa walasanga twalalushira mwemye weshingi ishalale nga bambe bakachiwuliremo so advice yange yakwewa kwatinga ekyalo ili tulamu kuvota let us become ero nga twatekanya ero nokwishofu twalaenda nokwafwa nomuno munangwe indishuni ndova iringiri nama manifesto kuba politics ne bakera ama manifestos yabo amwasanga kiri kwati nali muwamufayo mwana kashulefo kumupa uyo mwana gashinga lefo kumupa ero wamwebo kwe bati gana akupa nkala kushire fya fwala gana akupa nkala kushire obunga gana akupa kushire mpoto ila ni responsibility ya muntu ule ya mkufayo ule mwana kashi manifesto kuyalanda na ule mwana kashi then yulandela na ule mwana kashi you know my responsibility nemo amena ule fwa ule mwana kashi kutu yakula fwa iko fwala akula fwa iko kulia that's my responsibility noma na twala ili yakwa chini manifesto wanasangati chile shupe eli ngeva politician ya ufonda mwana responsibility ya government for example alanda kesa mikuri ya maskulu gama votera kesa mikuri la bridge gama votera kesa wame musebo then what's the responsibility ya government because your responsibility ya government ngirine shida mwana mama manifesto ya kwa bati manifesto kuti ya chili yefindu man for example kuno kuruwa pula tulikwata amarungu mayingi sana whereby ngatakola the government ya pita promise abantu ko bati muri amarungu twalati mwamulai tupange bona ma factory finish mwala sakwati uyo muntu wafira uti kwabo kumuvotera because kira cyala afu abantu abengi n'intu abantu abengi bala kwata na change la bwika shikubuta kunchende abantu yala bako no mbanga kwa batyo ngakule
why kwishisheni
kanitwa myomusebo ngakite that's the responsibility of the government that is not a manifesto. So tufude tulerekanye manifesto na responsibility. So government
thank you so much for calling through.
Opposition
in the interest of time we'll be able to hold that particular call. Directors, we hold that particular call. That's the last call that we take for today. Time is definitely running out, Rhoda.
Yes, well, we can safely say we've come to the end of today's Daybreak special. Very beautiful Monday morning. I enjoyed being here with these, gentlemen.
Did you agree to put on that color?
No, it just so happened.
Huh? Can I call a priest? Do you have a priest around here? Rhoda and John Mark.
Maybe Mr. Musa can act as.
Because you're both single, so it can be a good opportunity before.
If you knew Paul, there's no way he was not going to end with that statement.
Like I said in the beginning, I just came here with the vibe.
But glad to be here.
Absolutely.
Great energy you have, Rhoda.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we should be doing this quite often. Management, are you hearing? Yeah. Otherwise, great show. And that is the pattern we take for the rest of the week until the 17th of August, when the results at presidential level are expected to be announced according to the Electoral Commission of Zambia. We come your way every day from 6 a.m. up to 10. Like John Mark said earlier, you're stuck with us.
Whether you like it or not.
Absolutely. 4 hours of news, analysis, accountability, and of course conversations ahead of Zambia's 13 general election. As campaigns enter their final stretch, our message still remains very simple. Listen carefully, ask questions, reject violence, verify information, very important. And when polling day comes, exercise your democratic right.
Indeed. And of course, tomorrow, Kizito, Naomi, and Paul will be here with another special edition as the countdown continues. We'll take a brief recess, Rhoda, won't we?
Yeah.
Most definitely. And then, of course, until then, Rhoda, Mulenga, Paul Shingongo, and myself, John Mark Lukonde, good morning. Stay informed, and of course, stay with Prime Television Zambia and PTV2 Zambia, the home of breaking news.
Daybreak was brought to you by Airtel.
After a long day of spreadsheets, traffic, and people saying circle back, Bo just wants to stream his favorite show. But of course, his subscription expired. Good thing he's got the Airtel Money Global Pay Card for his global subscriptions. One tap, and he's back in business. No panic, no drama. At checkout, just pick MasterCard and enter your Global Pay Card details, CVV, and expiry date. That's it. Show back on. Subscription paid. Couch life activated. Be like Twambo. Get your Global Pay Card in the Airtel Money section of the My Airtel app and top it up straight from your wallet.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.